I can't open it. Sweat. That water sure is wet. You're boiling water? Where's that fucking umami powder?
Her lawsuit includes photos of the alleged studio meeting, and she says she's the girl with the blurred face. Anna claims during the meeting, Diddy took her to a bathroom. Basically, he took her in the bathroom, and she said that she did not consent to anything that happened in there. For his part, Diddy has denied the allegations. Anna and Evander, who now plays for the Edmonton Oilers, married in 2018 and had one child together before she filed for divorce in 2021. So that right there is the complete article from TMZ. So, I mean, I don't know what's the next step. Because I believe when you're a certain age, like I don't even know if they can show her face here. But if this is truly her, if it truly is, then I don't know what to,
God damn it!
Alicia's story. Because like I said, when I was listening to her, as a person who had just recently watched Blink twice, I was like so shocked. And in my mind, I was like, did they write this story about her? Did they interview her and get this information and then make a movie about it? That's what my mind went. I was blown away. I mean, like, so my whole thing is like, if this turns out to really be her, I'm just wondering what Alicia is going to have to say about that. Because if you watch the movie, and again, if you watch the movie, you know that their memory was like messed up. So it's like you would hate for the story to be false because that kind of mess up everything for like
Fucking door!
victims out there.
Fucking tiny dogs escaped.
This ain't
And they just were trying to steal the food I gave to the chickens. Motherfuckers.
we still gotta keep our focus
Just had to run.
on Diddy. You know, we have to.
Fucking demons!
Because like I said, this is pretty bad here. And the fact that she came out and she said it is me, I'm just wondering what is next. I'm just wondering because I know Lionel B. I don't know yet. I know he had part 2. He said he had a part 3. I don't know if he's released it
It
yet.
smells so good.
But supposedly
Everything has fucking salt.
he's supposed to be releasing. He said he's going to release that. I guess I'm just struggling with like you don't want to not believe people because these are some serious things that they are related to. So if someone's caught lying, then people gonna start looking like I don't know what that does to the case.
I'm probably sure that someone has been paid to lie and then get caught lying.
Alicia lied.
That's definitely gonna happen. This man is
Hey, comment
definitely going to pull anything he can in order to get out of what he's in.
because like I said, it was like breaking news right now. So Anna came. All right, peace out.
Brightness is weird.
not to be a ridiculous theatre person and suggest that Fiyero entering on horseback changes everything about the trajectory of his character, but the fact that Fiyero enters on horseback changes the entire trajectory of his character. Oh my god, hey, welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. My name is Mika Joe, and I am obsessed with all things theatre. I've been particularly excited to see the fantastic response to the release of the long-anticipated feature film adaptation of the musical Wicked. Yes, Wicked Part 1 has finally come out in cinemas based on the first act of the Broadway musical from 2003, based on the Gregory Maguire novel of the same name, based on the stories of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz from L. Frank Baum. A film based on a musical, based on a book, based on a
Heather Jane!
to another film based on the
Dude, I've been staggering and like fucking tripping like really badly the last 2 days, especially. Can't keep my fucking.
Anyway, I'm celebrating another Wicked Wednesday here on my theatre-themed YouTube channel. If you don't know, I have already released several Wicked-themed videos. Spent the entire year watching trailers for this thing, and then when it came out, I have shared spoiler-free and spoiler-filled video reviews. If you want to know what I thought of the film, that's not what we're talking about today. You can go and check out those videos already. More recently, I have talked about all of the different Easter eggs and references that we saw in the Wicked film, some of them paying homage to The Wizard of Oz, that iconic film, some of them nodding towards things that might happen in Wicked Part 2, and others nodding specifically towards the stage musical, like the opening shot of a
Nothing like
witch's hat,
cellulose.
and also visibly how the stage musical started, like the monkeys flying around during the overture, and because the film is based on the stage show, really lovingly adapted from it, retaining much of the original material and aesthetic. There's a huge amount of crossover between the film and the stage versions. However, as you might expect, there are also differences, some key differences, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. How does the Wicked movie differ from the stage musical? Now, principally, I'm going to be talking about the original Broadway production of that musical, the one still playing at the Gershwin Theatre in New York, still playing at the Apollo Victoria Theatre in London, still seen on tour around the US and the UK, elsewhere around the globe. I clarify this because in the last few years there have also been non-replica productions, that is to say the same material, the same scripts, the same score, occasionally translated into different languages, but with new designs, new directions. I got to see one of those non-replica productions in Sao Paulo, Brazil last summer. That's where I got this Defy Gravity hat, a hat which literally holds space for the lyrics of Defy Gravity right here on my head. And there are also videos on my channel about that if you're curious what that trip was like, what I thought about that production. And also, you know, while we're here looking at these specific differences, there are a couple of differences just between the identical West End and Broadway productions as well. I also made a video about that. You can go and check out all this Wicked stuff here on my channel. Make sure you're subscribed. But like I said, today we're really going to focus on those differences that they made in adapting the musical to the screen. And to help illustrate that, I have two helpful little monkey assistants. This is Chistery per the design of the original stage musical, and this is Chistery per the design of the film. You can get this one at anywhere where the musical is playing, also at One Schubert Alley in New York. That's a merchandise store for Broadway shows. You can get this one courtesy of the Noble Collection, and they're going to help clarify when I'm talking about the movie and when I'm talking about the stage version. So let's embark on this discussion together down the metaphorical yellow brick road, which may or may not have been built yet. We'll get to it. If you enjoy this, make sure to subscribe to my theatre-themed YouTube channel for more Wicked Wednesday content coming over the next few weeks. Also, I am bound to have missed out a couple of moments where there are differences, and this is not an exhaustive video. I'm not going to tell you every single changed line of dialogue because there are several, but if there are any conspicuous omissions, feel free to comment them in the comment section down below, as well as weighing in about what you thought of these changes. Were they changed for the better? Wink wink, nudge nudge. Anyway, let's talk about it. So I have been making notes about this since I first saw the film. The most immediate change that we notice is differences in Elphaba's backstory, as well as how much of Elphaba's backstory we get to see. In the stage version of Wicked, this is all contained within Glinda's narration in the song No One Mourns the Wicked that happens timeline-wise at the end of the Wicked story. She is assuring the people of Munchkinland, spoiler alert by the way for the whole of this video, like the entire thing, she is assuring the people of Munchkinland that yes, the Wicked Witch of the West is in fact dead. But when they begin to sing No One Mourns the Wicked, she reminds them that Elphaba was once a real person with real problems. So in the stage version we see a flashback of her father and her mother. We learn that her mother was having an affair, after which Elphaba was conceived and born as this green baby, and the reaction to her birth was very traumatizing. Her father simply said, "Take it away." He was horrified, and we don't then see Alphabet again until she is arriving at Shiz. In the film, however, we see these same events taking place, but we get a little bit more exposition through her early childhood. We learn that with neither of her parents interested in taking care of her from the moment of her birth, she was raised by her nanny, Dulcie Bear, who is in fact a bear. And this serves two purposes at once in the film. It reminds us that she felt this distance from her parents, but it also helps to justify and further the kinship that she feels towards the plight of the animal community, who, as she is getting older, are being more and more marginalized in the land of Oz. It's what endears her to Dr. Dillamond as a friend and a political ally. Now, we don't really find out what happens to Dulcie Bear. I'm very curious to see if this is something that comes back
Yes, she does.
in the second film. Some other differences that we see in these early scenes, we actually see baby Elphaba, when she is born, sort of casting magic in ways that she can't really control. She telekinesises a bunch of stuff onto the
Oh
screen.
yeah, that's
She's a
it.
character
Right there.
in X-Men.
That's the
I
one.
absolutely don't think that telekinesis is a verb, but I choose to use it that way. We also learn that the silver shoes that will later be gifted to Messieurs by her father, this happens in the stage musical as well, in the film are the silver shoes of her mother. In the stage musical, he just went out and bought some silver shoes at the silver shoe store. In the film, it's her mother's silver shoes. The shoes, I should say, are silver in both versions because that is how they are in the original Wonderful Wizard of Oz book. It's only the film adaptation with Judy Garland that made them ruby red. Carrying on, in the film we also see a moment from Elphaba and Nessarose's childhood, Elphaba taking care of her sister and becoming once again enraged.
Yeah, no, I don't normally enjoy food this much. This is really good.
Munchkin children. It's unclear if they want just her or the both of them.
Oh shit, so many comments.
Capacity because she's green and she gets that. But this basically just reaffirms all of the stuff that we've seen from the circumstances of her birth. Her father is dismissive towards her.
Oh shit.
Loves Nessarose, really cherishes her, and Dulcie Bear attempts to reassure her, being the only real.
Dude, it feels like it. Oh god, it feels so cozy and yummy. I'm telling you, dude. The last 4 days, I've been really, really, really happy in my space.
The film, the whole thing feels like it's been expanded.
And then Orly shit everywhere. So now I have to figure shit out. But I gotta go over to the other house. I've got some carpet there. I'm gonna use in here. So we gotta figure that out.
Where we saw really conspicuous plot differences was in the arrival to Shiz. And there's little details here, like in the film version, Glinda arrives.
Can you guys believe that Wicked is like a movie that Ariana Grande is acting in? The fact that it was a Broadway show is even mind-blowing to me because it is literally fanfic. Like those weirdo Harry Potter movies that fans write and they make themselves wizards and have relationships with Harry Potter and stuff. You know what I mean? That's literally that's literally what Wicked is. It's literally fanfic. So mind-blowing. I bet the author is just like, dude, I can't believe this. This is crazy.
Flanked by her two friends, Fanny and Shen Shen. In the film version, Fanny is played by Bowen Yang. In the stage version, to my knowledge, Fanny has only ever been played by female performers.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Of a gender flip here, except we don't really know expressly, I think, from the film version.
And I'm also making Hasselback potatoes in the oven right now.
That character, this sort of a skirt element to the Shiz uniform feels a little queer-coded, interestingly enough.
Dude, Adam is having car trouble again.
The stage version, where a Shiz student...
I had heard of it in 2002, but that's only because my boyfriend, in that moment, his mom taught a class called Voice for Theater, and they were doing... That's actually why that's one of the ways I learned to enunciate and project my voice far to be heard theater-wise. I have a voice for theater. I've said that all the time. But anyway, so they were doing a production of Wicked. So that's how I heard of it the first time, but I've never read the book. I've never seen the show. And when the movie came out, I still hadn't heard anything of it, but I've been watching breakdowns of it. So it's clear that she exists at this university with an extraordinary amount of privilege from the beginning. Now here
here is the
Oh
biggest
my God.
difference plot-wise. When Elphaba arrives at Shiz in the film, she is not enrolled.
So good.
She is not planning to enroll. She is not planning to attend. In the stage musical, she is attending with Nessa Rose. The two of them are both arriving together, and her father says something like, the only reason I am letting you go to this university is to take care of your sister, because he cares about Nessa Rose, and he doesn't care about Elphaba. But in the film, this is a moment where Nessa is going to start this next chapter of her life with independence. Elphaba is happy for her. If Elphaba is a little sad that she doesn't get to go to this place of
I told
magical
you.
higher education, she hides it well.
So Adam's having car trouble again.
Of her sister. Now after Nessa, who is a wheelchair
He got stuck
independently
again.
moves herself further into Shiz and immediately begins making new
And,
acquaintances. Her father becomes very anxious.
He's
for her
almost
well-being
home,
and asks
but
Elphaba to go
I told
to-
him when I was on the phone with him earlier, I was like, dude, be really careful because it is very fucking rainy and very foggy.
Stage show was like, I am a grumpy father. In the film, there's more
He
nuance.
just texted me and was like, oh my God.
And you can see
I'm like struggling
he
here.
cares for his younger daughter, and he says to Elphaba, go with her just until she gets to her room. But he still becomes short-tempered with her when Elphaba tries to persuade him that Nessa Rose is fine and doesn't need her to hover. When Elphaba does then follow after Nessa Rose isn't necessarily thrilled about this. Now, in terms of how Elphaba ends up attending Shiz in the film, the same circumstances, or at least similar circumstances, take place in both. Where
Do
Nessa
not
in
even
her
try
wheelchair
my
is
patience.
whisked away
You
from
are
Elphaba.
on a
In the
diet
stage
and you
show,
can't have any.
This is because Madame Morrible takes custody of Nessa Rose's chair because the governor has made his concerns for his daughter's welfare quite apparent, and she has made arrangements for Nessa Rose to share Madame Morrible's own private compartment, which I think is the worst thing that could possibly happen to you as a young person going to university. Like the headmistress, the head shistress of that university being like, oh yeah, you're going to stay in my room. Awful. Sucks. But in the film, it's not about Elphaba not being in control of Nessa. It's about Nessa not having that control for herself. And
What are you
we'll talk
doing?
about this as we talk about the
Do not
character.
try to step on that
This is
box.
Because a new Shiz character called Miss Coddle, we'll get to her as well, attempts to
Thank
wheel
you.
Nessa away and
Sneaker.
take her to the room where she will be staying. Miss Coddle being a name based on her behavior towards Nessa Rose. She is
Woo, it's warm in here now.
unnecessarily, and she is patronizing this disabled student in a way that Elphaba knows her sister does not want. So Elphaba in both versions does a little bit of angry magic. Nessa Rose's chair in the stage version just spins around, and the film version flies up into the air, and a bunch of other chaos goes down. Madame Morrible witnesses this in both versions. In the stage version, she's like, never apologize for talent I will do to you personally in the art of magic. And in the film version, insists that she roll at Shiz in order for that to be possible. As such, in this film version, as we then go into The Wizard and I, Elphaba is experiencing this
So good.
completely new, unexpected circumstance. She didn't think that she was going to be starting a life at Shiz, and also, she's already stepping on Nessa's toes a little more here than she was in the stage version, metaphorically speaking. And that little hint of resentment between what were otherwise two very contented sisters begins to bubble. Now, we've started talking about some of these different character arcs, so we'll continue. Big picture here, Elphaba is not quite as immediately angry with her peers as she is in the musical, I think because we've seen that moment of her experiencing this intolerance and bullying from childhood. She's just gotten used to it at this point. She is not thrown into a rage when people stare at her and make green jokes. She is just
Yum.
saddened by it, and she delivers this very rehearsed speech that she's been saying. Yes, I've always been green. No, I didn't eat grass as a child. All of that stuff. The difference with Glinda from this first scene, meanwhile, she doesn't immediately bully Elphaba the same way she does in the stage musical. In the stage musical, she's like, one of the first things she says is green. She's phosphorescent. And in the film, she, again, it's tone deaf, but she thinks she means well, or at least she wants to be perceived as meaning well. When she goes up to Elphaba after saying, you're green, she goes up to her and says, I hope to study in sorcery, and then I will use my power to help, heal you of this affliction, basically. A super racist thing to say to someone that she thinks is coming from a good place, even if she doesn't really mean it authentically. Which means from the beginning, we get this sense of Glinda being someone who wants to be right. She wants to be seen to be doing the right thing. It's more about how she's being perceived than how she's actually acting. Big difference between Elphaba and Glinda's morality.
I literally can identify with Elphaba, and if these Redditors aren't careful, they're gonna turn me into an evil person. You know what I mean? It's a good thing I am who I am.
She doesn't
Because if you treat just anybody like that, you could force someone into a situation where they do become evil.
about this and is devastated that her dream is going to someone else. Next up, let's talk about Madame Marble. So Madame Marble in
Ooh, the
stage
potatoes
version
are
is this
potatoing.
very bubbly, sort of a grande dame,
Check it out.
slightly comedic character.
Making
Takes a
some
big shift towards the
Hasselback
first act and certainly
potatoes in the
second.
oven.
The conspicuous difference here
Ow.
is that the stage
Ow.
version of Marble
Ow.
has been
Please go back.
effectively
Oh,
split
yeah.
into two characters, where we have the version of Madame Marble played by Michelle Yeoh, and we also have Miss Coddle, who takes on some of her responsibilities as head mistress. That scene with Nessa Rose, the scene in Dr. Diamond's classroom, portions of that sort of her bubbly nature, public speaking, is appropriated to Miss Coddle, the character
Okay,
played
now
by
that I have
Kelsey
eaten
Ballerini.
some food that I was not planning on enjoying,
Yeoh's Madame Marble a little more
I was literally just taking it at more as a,
and it has really
taking it like a medicine so that I could
because towards the end of the first film, very end of the thing,
get my antibiotics down without being ill.
into the sky, riffing all about the place. Madame Marble looks up onto the balcony and with a gesture of her hand orders the guards to release Glinda and walks over to her and embraces her, signifying that she is going to be embraced by Marble and the wizard, but that she's going to be used by them as well. And I think because the Marble in the film is that little bit more stern, more serious, less sort of vivacious as we know her to be in the stage musical, she needs Glinda. This stage Marble, she could be the public face of this if she wanted to. She's not as young and beautiful as Glinda was, but she can do the public speaking thing very well. This one doesn't necessarily have the warmth to capture the love of the people involved, so she really needs Glinda. I say this one, I'm holding the monkey. Another Marble difference is that when we meet her in the wizard's throne room, she says that she's there because she couldn't miss Elphaba's big day. In the stage musical, she announces at that point that she's risen up in the world and she has been made the new press secretary. Whether this is something that will happen in the second part of the film, I don't know. She also technically is her title is head mistress and sorcery tutor in the stage musical. She is just the dean of sorcery in the film, which tickles me because prior to Elphaba's arrival, there are no other magical students. Possibly there have been no magical students since the Wizard of Oz himself. So I don't know what she's been doing at this university this entire time. Now we've already touched a little bit on the character of Nessa Rose, largely similar in both the stage musical and the film, but the things that happen to her are a little bit different. It is the agency afforded to her that feels new for the film, and it's worth pointing out in the wider context that for the first time the role of Nessa Rose is being played by a wheelchair user, by an actress who is a wheelchair user. This being something that I don't believe has ever happened in either the original or non-replica productions of Wicked on stage, so this is a brilliant move forwards in terms of authentic disability representation.
So
In
close.
conjunction with that, the actress named Marissa Brody had conversations with the writers
Ah,
about Nessa Rose and the depth of that representation and authenticity and the nature of the story we were telling about disabled characters. And I'm assuming it's from that that we got this renewed depth around Nessa's arrival at Shiz and this autonomy and agency that she is afforded in those moments of Alphabet advocating for that for her. Finally, I want to talk about Fiero. He is so different.
Yeah, your comments aren't coming up.
The stage show and the film, he's like a completely different person. Because in the stage show, he is that vapid, narcissist, straw for brains character who is completely 180 turned around by Elphaba. And in the film, we play a lot more into that sort of like Jane Austen.
Yeah, literally, it was great, and then shit hit the fan.
Cute between the two of them, where he nearly runs her down in the middle of the night on a horse.
I'm not into theater kids. I'm not into theater people, pretty much, just because of their, like, you know, I mean, if you know, you know, you know. Theater people are like the farthest left, you know, usually. They're very, very cliquey, and they tend to be a lot more willing to live in a world of delusion. They want to be a character in a stage show. So they are more predisposed, I guess. I don't know it's a type of person that's drawn to that like place. It's not like theater does that to people innately, but people are drawn to being in theater because they are more likely to be a person who either is just delusional or likes to like tiptoe into delusion and would love nothing more than to literally dress in a costume every day and be a character. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy to fall into cult-like behavior patterns when you are already knee-jerk ready to like pretend all the time. It's a lot easier to pretend masks are doing something. It's a lot easier to pretend that like, you know, all Christians are actually bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all these things that I had that realization literally from watching interviews of Ariana Grande and that lady for this Wicked. That's why I'm interested in it right now, because I'm having all these realizations about human behavior that I hadn't had before. I was like, oh shit, yeah. It is like that, huh? So it's been fascinating for me. And then to see how they're acting. And like, so Ariana Grande has never done this on a press tour before. She is a theater kid at heart, but like, she's now in a movie with a theater kid in a like theater kid like mecca, and so she's bouncing off of the other girl. You know what I mean? Like, so they're together. The two of them are being like the most dramatic, the most extra, the most theater kid, the most. You know what I mean? And that's why they're crying all the time in these interviews. They're feeding off of one another. They're fucking delusion. And so that fascinated me, watching those interviews and that dynamic. And so then I started watching. I was like, okay, well, what's the movie even really about? Like, I've never read the story, never watched the musical. So what I did is I watched a couple of like breakdowns making fun of their interviews, obviously. And then I watched an off-Broadway version. It wasn't Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, but it was the two other, I don't know, they were popular ones. It was a big show, but it wasn't the show, like the big one. But I watched a little bit of it, and I honestly could not do it. I was just like, dude, nah. The story might be okay, but like, this is just really hard to just sit through. So I fast-forwarded it. I was listening to pretty much everything on fast forward with closed captioning on so that I wouldn't miss anything. And then, so that was funny because all the songs sounded like Munchkinland songs. And then I was like, all right, well, I fast forwarded. And then I saw the part with the guy and the love interest. I was like, what the? So then I fast forwarded again, and I got to the end. I got to the part where she turns the monkeys into flying monkeys. And then I realized, like, oh shit, dude. Like, the wizard's the bad guy, and Ariana Grande's character, like Galinda, she's actually the bad guy. So I started realizing that just by watching that little bit of that stage show. And so then I was like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I will want to watch the movie. Let me go see some breakdowns of the movie. And then this guy, Critical Drinker, I don't really watch his content, but I understand that we have the same kind of, like, ideas about movies in a lot of ways, because I have watched a few of his videos or read some of his breakdowns or watched videos where people talk, so I understand like his opinions I kind of align with, not obviously 100%, but enough to where I watched his video about it and he said that it was surprisingly a good movie, and he was like I can't believe I'm even saying this, but yeah, it was good. And then I was like, okay, well, he's saying it's good. Let me just go and see, like, what people who've already seen it are saying about it. So I started watching a couple of videos about what people are saying about it. And then I started watching videos where people were breaking down the book so then I could actually know the story. Holy shit, hold on, though. I'm going to play this video I listened to earlier. It's a breakdown of the of the book, and dude, that book is literally fanfic. It has so much grape in it, it's insane. Oh yeah, Adam has the thing, the membership to watch all the movies, so I do plan on it. I was gonna tell him I want to watch it tonight, but I don't want to sit in there.
That's my line.
So this is the video I watched earlier that was...
Because
Okay,
when I see a
hold on.
lot of projecting y'all to the same fate, I'm going to be adding to this madness by talking about Wicked, the book series. Not to be a hater, I don't think I'm going to like this movie very much, partly because when I see a lot of promo for something, my mind is like, if you're spending that much on the marketing, how much did you reserve for the movie? I mean, that's probably just my own bias, but also, this movie, this two-part movie, is based off of a musical, based off of a book, based off of a movie, based off of a book. So there's been a lot of hoops we needed to jump through to get to this point. Also, 2 parts when the first part is coming up on 3 hours is diabolical work. So basically, like I just touched upon, this whole Oz universe started with L. Frank Baum's 14-book Oz series, the first book being The
There's
Wonderful
a damn
Wizard of
dog
Oz,
hair on it.
in 1900.
Every time.
This book was then adapted into the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie starring Judy Garland that we're all probably very familiar with. And then these 2 works were then the inspiration for the Wicked Years book series, which comprises 4 books written by Gregory McGuire, which is what I'm going to be recapping for y'all today. The first book of the series is called Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which was originally published in 1995 and was adapted into a Broadway musical in 2003, and that is entitled Wicked, which originally starred Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. So now we have the 2024 movie, which stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And like I said, this movie is the first of 2. And this movie, I think, will follow the musical relatively closely. I mean, it'll have some of the same songs, probably a lot of the same plot. Now, I didn't even know Wicked, the Broadway musical, was based off of a book until I started doing research on, like, the whole Oz universe. So I thought to myself, let me give it a read. Let me see what it's all about. I had no idea what I was getting into, brother. The Wicked series is kind of like an adult, emphasis on adult, fan fiction of the Oz universe. It follows how the Wicked Witch of the West came to be, before the whole Dorothy arc, and it examines the complexities of good and evil. I'd say for the most part, I had an okay time reading it, and I do like the writing style in certain moments, and I can see why it would be highly regarded. However, other times I was wondering what the fuck was going on in this dude's head. I think I was turned off by some, the perverse inclusions of gross things.
Yeah,
throughout
animals have
these
you-know-what
novels
ski with
that just
humans,
seemed
and
completely
RAPE
unnecessary to me.
children.
But, we'll get into that as the story goes on.
Like, wait,
I've
what?
described the
So
overall
this is what the
vibes to be
liberals have been fucking
dark,
loving?
uncomfortable, and low-key confusing.
You know what I mean?
So if you're into
It's just
that,
another
you
thing where they
probably
love
enjoy it. So
the... I love Wicked. Oh my god, Wicked's so
first,
amazing.
let me give you a map
There's
of
fucking
Oz, set up the universe
literally
a
this
bit,
thing
because
called
the book's very
Philosophy
much delved
Club,
into the political
and in
climate
Philosophy
of Oz,
Club, you
and
get
it's
locked
funny
in,
when
and you
think
get
about
chained
it,
to
like,
an
it's a
animal,
little
and then
bit
you...
silly. I
And then...
think that talking animals,
this guy gets
magic,
raped by a tiger.
supposedly whimsy. I wouldn't say there's that much whimsy in these books because they're very dark.
What?
But we've got all this stuff going on. But no, we're going to focus
No
on the
fucking
economic
wonder! The
implications of
furry stuff,
constructing
you
the yellow
know?
brick road. So basically, as you can
You
see
know?
in the center, we have Emerald
These
City.
people.
It has the most diverse
What is
population.
it with these
It's also
people
where the
and
head
fucking
governing
things?
person lies. Now that person has changed.
And small
throughout this
children.
Series. The lure with that is originally
It's Hollywood.
there was this Queen
Actors.
Ozma who ruled,
Theater people,
but
think
I
about
think
it.
she died or something, and she had a daughter, Ozma Tippetarius, who was too young to, ascend to the throne. So then there was this dude, I think it was Ozma Tippetarius' dad, who was acting as the regent ruler,
Bro.
but then the wizard swooped in, and he took control. The regent was locked up
Where
and
are you
supposedly
coming from?
killed, and Ozma Tippetarius
Are you coming
disappeared.
from up
And so
there?
when this first book, Wicked, is taking place, it's pretty much under the wizard's rule. He already swooped in, took control, and is low-key becoming a tyrant. At the top, there's Gillikin, known for being civilized and wealthy. This is where Glinda comes from. To the right is Munchkin Land. Some Munchkins are small, but not all of them. I know, especially in the movie The Wizard of Oz, Munchkins are known for being, tiny, but that's not the case for every Munchkinlander. It's mainly known for farming. On the bottom is Quadling Country, known
There's
for being
these
poor
damn-
and swampy, and to the
Adam
left
called them
is
cinch
Leaky
bugs.
Country. It's desolated and populated with
And they were in here
supposedly
really
savage
bad
clans. Can
before I
just say,
moved
though,
in.
making this video was
But I
super
cleaned all of the
convenient.
nests
Opera
that I
browser.
found
They
up and
recently
cleaned
released an
everything
updated
out.
version of their browser called Opera 1 R2 with a bunch of cool features and customization
But like
options.
I
You can
keep
alter
seeing
the
a couple of them
entire
here and
theme of
there,
the browser,
and like
including
randomly like right
animated
here.
backgrounds, UI colors, and browser sounds.
One was
I
in my
personally
cup,
love the Midsummer
which
theme
is what
because
sketches
it
me
looks
out. Like I
super
need a
aesthetically
lid.
pleasing
I'm
and
scared
allows
myself.
me to create a serene, clean workspace. When I'm working, the feature that's particularly helpful to me is the split screen function, where you can simply drag a tab downwards
go,
and
that's
split the
better.
screen. This saves you from having to switch back and forth between two.
Oops, sorry.
We've got the
I
main
fast
queen
forwarded that.
running the show,
on my own.
Elphaba Throb. Future Wicked Witch of the West canonically has an enchanting singing voice. Fun fact. She was born in Munchkinland with green skin and a severe water allergy to parents Frex and Malena.
What's up?
Frex, her father, is a priest, very religious, and thinks magic is evil.
What?
But even though he has a
You want me to
soft
get your
spot for her, he low-key resents her because he considers her green skin to be like a product of some sin that he's responsible for. Plus,
How
and
about
this is
that?
probably the main
Is that
reason
better?
she grows up to be an atheist, which obviously won't work because his whole life centers around religion. Malena is from this noble Throb family and descends from the head of the family, the eminent Throb. But the lore with Malena and Frex's marriage is that it's pretty disappointing for her, especially because Frex wasn't concerned with moving up in the social rankings, and she married like down the social rankings. So
Well,
she's really
you're not getting
living
any
the life
food.
that she was
No.
prepped for in that
No.
sense. She was super lonely. She
Absolutely
turned
not.
to
Don't
having
breathe on that.
multiple affairs, turned to drugs and alcohol. When Elphaba was born, it was kind of in the midst of this like chaotic event.
No.
Basically,
And you don't like
this
strawberries. I would
enchanted
give you
TikTok
strawberries.
device came to town.
But you don't
Not
like
like
TikTok from Return to Oz.
TikTok. TikTok is in mechanical. Think like a machine,
You're
but
not getting
since
any
it's
food.
magic,
No
it can do
food.
special things like tell
No.
the future with this particular one. It's called the Clock of the
He's
Time
like, oh,
Dragon.
okay.
And
And he
basically,
lays down.
when this came to town, Frex, Elphaba's father, went to sort of rally the townspeople to turn against it because, like I said, it's magic and that's, sacrilegious. But he was completely overruled by this frenzied mob, and they were going to go after Frex and Malena. So, like, a few women hid Malena in the Clock of the Time Dragon, which was eventually where Elphaba was born. Malena was unconscious, so Elphaba was being attended to by several different women. One of the first
There's,
to hold her,
The
Elphaba
Wizard
had
of Oz,
a
there's
bitten
Return to
finger, and
Oz,
she might have just bitten her
and then
finger. She had
there's
sharp
the-
teeth straight out the womb as a newborn, so her parents had to make
There's
her
one
a
more, I
muzzle.
think.
Okay,
remember.
I feel like the way Elphaba's
But Return to
parents
Oz was
feel
really-
towards her is kind
That
of
stars,
like tending towards
what's
a
her name?
stray animal
Faruka
that they don't really
Balzic
want.
from
Like, they definitely grow to tolerate Elphaba
The Craft.
and even have a soft spot
She's
for
like
her,
12.
I said, but it really isn't a lovey-dovey relationship. There's this grandma figure throughout the books named Nanny who, kind of helped Malena, grow up, I guess, and raise her. So she comes to town to try and help Malena through this process and try and turn Elphaba's skin to a normal color. And so Nanny comes over and asks Malena, like, hey, did you sleep with any other dudes that could explain for this change in skin color? Like, elves, perhaps? And Malena was like, well, now that I think about it, there was this one guy who came to town and gave me an elixir from a green bottle, but after I drank it, I don't really remember what happened, and I had, like, weird nightmares afterwards. And so what we end up finding out later down the road is that weird dude was, in fact, the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz
who
raped
came
her.
in, R-worded Malena, and so that resulted in Elphaba as the wizard's daughter, biologically. So, when I was talking about earlier that there were some things throughout the series that makes me uncomfortable, one particular thing, and it's not like it's a rare occurrence, it occurs pretty frequently, it's my boy Gregory's depiction of sex. Because I feel like whenever characters in the series have sex, either A, it's a result of R-word, or B, it's an affair. That is literally the only two reasons characters would be doing it in this series. I don't understand why it comes up so frequently. What is with this fixation on horrible events. So anyways, time goes by and this traveling glass blower from Quadling country named Turtleheart stays as a guest for a while in their house, and he makes Elphaba this looking glass and they have a little bond. I thought the looking glass was going to be more important than it actually was. I don't think it really had all that much impact on the plot. But anyways, so Turtleheart and Elphaba, they form a little bond pretty much immediately. Matter of fact, Turtleheart forms a bond with everyone in the household because he ends up having an affair with Melena, and you know what? He later ends up to be Frex's gay awakening. So
The
it
looking
does
glass is what
explicitly
she
say in
uses, the
the
ball
text
that she
Frex
uses to
and
look at
Melena
Dorothy later on.
ended up falling in love with Turtleheart. They were kind of low-key throupling, except I don't think that it was a throuple because both individual husband and wife, they didn't really acknowledge each other's mutual affection for the same dude. Elphaba and her parents ended up spending a lot of Elphaba's childhood in Quadling country because of Turtleheart, and they ended up staying there even after Elphaba grew up, I think. So then we jump forward in time, and Elphaba is growing up and going to college, which is called Shiz. It's there where she ends up rooming with Galinda, who's this beautiful and spoiled, but actually smart and sometimes nice girl from Gillikin, who, fun fact, has a secret love of architecture. The dynamic between Galinda and Elphaba low-key reminds me of the dynamic between Sophie and Agatha in The School for Good and Evil, if you're familiar, which actually, now that I think
Ooh,
about
it's starting to smell like
examines
sizzling
the
potatoes
themes and
in here
complexities
now.
of good
I'm
and
so
evil
excited.
without excessive mention of our word, Gregory. Elphaba was quiet at first and liked reading, but low-key, as time went on, she became really hilarious because she was that girl in class who would just stand up and yell at the professor if she didn't agree with what they were doing. She was very socially awkward and not all that aware, but she's
The
also
place to
sarcastic
do the
and has a
thing.
good sense of humor. Galinda liked socializing with the wealthy girls, but like I said, she also has like a smart, quippy air about her. Elphaba and Galinda end up being in a friend group with a bunch of people. First, we have this small munchkin named Bach, and he actually spent some time with Elphaba during childhood, so he recognized her immediately when he saw her at Shiz. He has a massive crush on Galinda, and
Bach
ends
is
up
played
kissing
by that
her at
red-haired
one
dude
point,
that's
but nothing
with
else
Ariana
comes of
Grande
that.
right now.
Then we have this rich, handsome, arrogant type named Aberrant.
That's another thing.
He and Elphaba are constantly
Ariana Grande is in a relationship with that Ethan something guy. He literally played SpongeBob in the musical SpongeBob. His character in the movie is obsessed with Galinda. He's in love with her. And until she changes her name to Glinda, and then once she changes her name, after a while he realizes that he doesn't love this version, he likes Galinda, not Glinda. Nuh-uh. Jim Carrey? Stop, it can't be true. Jim Carrey really disappointed me in the last 4 or 5 years. Like, deeply. He was talking Oprah, like calling out the Illuminati. He was doing all that stuff, and the pedophiles in Hollywood. He was calling it out until his girlfriend or ex-fiance took her life using medication that he had gotten as a prescription and given to her. And so he went to court. He was facing murder charges or manslaughter after the something or whatever. So it's funny because as soon as he had to have agreed to not speak about stuff, because then all of a sudden he doesn't talk about that stuff anymore and he isn't being prosecuted for that kind of thing. Isn't it crazy? He went on like fucking David Letterman in front of like mainstream America, 8 p.m. I think. Maybe it was 10 p.m. I don't know, whatever. He went on David Letterman and was literally talking about, like, he was very loud about it. Until then. And then he shut up. And then he went on this, like, absolute fucking insane, like, Trump is the devil. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, politicians are inherently, like, liars and manipulators and stuff, but, like, dude, You have to call out the other side too. You can't just be like, "Oh, Trump is bad, but the Kamala Harris is amazing." Like, that's not how it works. I'm literally started putting diaper cream on my face, and it feels so good. And it has taken the dryness out of my skin for the first time, and I can't even tell you how long. My poor skin has been so dry in my, like, T-zone. But it's really just Aquaphor. Heavy-duty Aquaphor. So. It sucks that it's petroleum. But, man, I fucking need... It's, like, bumpy all right here. Really bumpy. Skin lumps. And then right where that crease is. And my eyebrows have been itching.
Beefing because he's kind of an asshole. And then we have Fiyero, who is a prince from Winky Country, and there are no people from Winky at Shiz, I believe, other than him, so he was a novelty, definitely the talk of the town when he first came. Then we have the minor characters who you don't really need to remember, no offense, but we have the lads Crope and Tibet, who are like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, basically. Then we have the rich gals, Fanny,
one of them is the one that gets raped by a
Mila,
tiger.
Who Galinda hang out with sometimes. Galinda actually ends up studying sorcery because she has a knack for magic. In the books, I feel like it mentions how Elphaba isn't really naturally good at magic and doesn't have, you know, an affinity for it or anything. But she does end up being pretty magical, and things around her, you know, happen subconsciously due to, I guess, her own internal magic, and she ends up becoming pretty magical anyways. But when she's studying at Shiz, she doesn't really care about sorcery. What she's interested in is the natural sciences and biology. Elphaba starts working with this professor who is a sentient goat named Dr. Dillamond. And I should mention that in this world of Oz, there are sentient, you know, animals who are basically, you know, the same as humans. Think the animals from Zootopia, if, you know, they're out and about in our real lives. And then there's the animals that we're familiar with, like the ones that we raise as livestock, have as pets, wild animals. And the way that the book makes a distinction between sentient animals and non-sentient animals, or conscious animals, whatever, is, well, animals do have consciousness, though. I guess I should say human-like animals and non-human-like animals is, so Dr. Dillamond, if he's described as a goat, it would be with a capital G, and if it's not a human-like animal, it would be a lowercase g. The wizard, for whatever reason, is hell-bent on discriminating against uppercase animals. And what I mean by that is he's trying to keep them out of the universities. He is essentially trying to send them back to the fields, or to the forests, or wherever they come from. And Elphaba, she feels very strongly about protecting animals, and she's worried that the next steps might lead to, like, animal slaughter, animal consumption, uppercase A. So she starts working with Dr. Dillamond to prove that uppercase animals are no different than humans. Elphaba has particular beef with Madame Morrible, who is the head mistress of the girls' hall at Shiz, and she seems to be working pretty closely with the wizard. Then, suddenly, when it seemed like Dr. Dillamond was about to make a breakthrough in his research, he was murdered. Galinda started going by Galinda from now on to honor Dr. Dillamond, because when they first met, he messed up her name and she was kind of rude about it. The name change was also coupled by a bit of a personality change. She became more reserved and serious, and Bach's crush dissipated because he realized he loved Galinda and not Galinda. This woman named Amma Clutch, who is Galinda and Elphaba's chaperone, seemingly witnessed the crime, the murder of Dr. Dillamond, but she became incoherent immediately after the fact, and so no one was able to ask her what had happened. And so basically, the lore on the chaperone is that Galinda and Elphaba have their own dorm room, and that was only made possible because Galinda
I used to love Jim Carrey until he sold out.
She can't tell humans apart from
I used to love him until he sold
objects.
out.
And so the chaperone's incoherency is the result of this very made-up illness that Glinda only told to Madame Morrible, but Glinda thinks that she may have accidentally caused it herself with some subconscious sorcery, but this makes Madame Morrible look very suspicious. Then Elphaba's younger sister, Nessa Rose, comes to join them at Shiz with Nanny, who is like her caretaker. There is speculation, in fact, that Nessa's biological dad is Turtleheart, but it is later revealed that no, that is not the case. Frex is her biological dad. Also, Nessa is born with no arms, so she can't really stand up and walk because she doesn't have any arms for balance. Also, I was a little bit confused about the way that it was described in the books, but apparently she has pink skin. Nessa Rose is super religious and thus is Frex's favorite. In fact, he gifted her these magnificent silver shoes that Glinda later magics so that Nessa can stand on her own. Keep in mind, he gave Elphaba nothing, even though he mailed this package to Shiz, where both of his daughters attend school. They also have a younger brother named Shell in honor of Turtleheart, who died shortly after Nessa Rose was born. He's the only, normal one out of the three of them, and Malena died during his birth. Then, the chaperone died, but right before she did, Glinda did a spell on her, and the chaperone revealed that this tick-tock device named Grommatic killed Dr. Dillamond, and Grommatic is Madame Morrible's servant. So then, immediately after, before Elphaba had a chance to do anything relating to her suspicions against Madame Morrible, Madame Morrible herself pulled Nessa Rose, Elphaba, and Glinda aside. She magics them into secrecy and basically puts a prophecy on them against their will, stating that they will become secret partners of the wizard. Glinda will oversee Gillikin, Nessa Rose will oversee Quadling Country, and Elphaba will oversee Munchkinland. And this really freaks Elphaba out because she sort of feels like a pawn from then on out. It ends up being prophetic in the sense that all three of those girls become witches. However, Elphaba and Nessa Rose don't end up in the
I want a
quadrants
composting
that Morrible
bin.
specified. So then, in a panic, Elphaba takes Glinda with her to the Emerald City to see the wizard. They meet it, and when Elphaba tries to give the wizard Dr. Dillamond's research on animal consciousness, the wizard basically ignores her. He doesn't give a fuck. So, meanwhile, the rest of their group is at something called the Philosophy Club. Now, this scene, I just completely regretted reading because it was so gut-wrenching and seemed entirely unnecessary because it didn't add anything to the book whatsoever, in my opinion, from what I've gathered. So trigger warning, you could skip ahead a minute if you don't want to hear this. So basically, the Philosophy Club is a sex show dungeon. You enter, and once the doors close, you cannot leave. So you can be chosen for the show, and you have to do it against your will, even if you change your mind. So they enter this room, and there's a circular stage with rooms around the stage, and the rooms can't see one another, but everybody in all the rooms can see the stage. So three people, this woman, a capital T tiger, and a blackout drunk, barely conscious Tibet, aka Tweedledum, are chosen for the show. They're tied together with a rope. Tibet is tied to the bottom of the tiger, and are sent to go ham. And then there's this one singular line later on in this book that was like, Tibet was never the same after the Philosophy Club. I fucking wonder why. Yeah, obviously, he was R-worded by a tiger. I really wonder what the general consensus of this book is, because I did see a lot of praise for it. Granted, it was, on the back of the cover. But, I can tell that a lot of people did enjoy it. I just personally...
Why would someone
when
enjoy
stuff
that?
Like that is thrown in, and
It's unnecessary.
I just don't care for that type of
Unnecessary.
shock factor. I guess not even shock factor, but I guess, social commentary.
It's on the back cover of the book.
Commentary. Elphaba decides to send Glinda back to Shiz alone because she doesn't want to go back and see or be anywhere near Madame Morrible. So Elphaba decides to go completely off the grid. She cuts off communication with everybody she knows for years, and that makes, the people that love her mad at her because she really truly ghosts them all. And then several years later, after all of her friends graduated from Shiz, Glinda is a very bubbly sorcerer now. She's seemingly following in the prophecy that Madame Morrible laid out for her. She married a baron, and she's doing stuff up in Gillikin. Nessa Rose becomes the next eminent throb and ruler of Munchkinland after it secedes from Oz to become its own state. Bach married one of the rich girls, Milla, and they went back to Munchkinland, and it was kind of weird because it was kind of a comedic line, but it said that Milla tries to kill herself in new ways every year because she hates it so much there. When people give out their Christmas cards at the end of the year, and everybody sends pictures of their family to each other, and sometimes like there's a little newsletter attached to it. I think there was a line that said in Bach's like yearly recap newsletter, he
I
details all
forgot.
the
I'm
ways
not in
in
my
which
book.
his wife tries to kill herself, and he's like, oh yeah, this year she tried to do this. That's horrible. And then Fierro ends up running into Elphaba by chance, and when she meets him, she basically has thrown away her identity. She views herself as a cog in the machine of this like underground revolution, I guess, working against the wizard. And technically her cover was blown when Fierro spotted her and he followed her home to her apartment, but she ended up allowing it because they fell in love with each other. And you know, when they made love, it was indeed an affair. That's right, because Fierro had a wife and 3 kids back home. Why? In Fierro's defense, he was like, you know, in my defense, this is the first time I've been unfaithful. So, that's supposed to make it better. And also, he married this woman when they were both children. I think it was some sort of political thing, and it's the way that their culture is. You marry really young, and he didn't have 3 kids, you know, super young. They waited until they were older, and then they had kids and whatever. There was this one pivotal defining day when Elphaba, it was finally her time to go out and enact her plan that she'd been working on, which was to kill Madame Morrible. However, she wasn't able to do so, and Fierro was actually caught by the wizard's soldiers and killed while she was gone. The body was not found, it was not there.
That's
And
because he's
Elphaba
turned into
was
the
extremely
Tin Man.
angered by this and went to a church where she became a sister of the church, and she helped the sick and injured and dying. One such person was Tibet. He
That's
ended
what
up
I
dying,
heard.
the one Tweedledum who
That he becomes the
was never
Tin
the same
Man.
after the Philosophy Club. When Elphaba was first taken in though by the church, she was unconscious for like a year, and then when she came out of that, she was mute for like the next 6 years. And apparently, while
And there's
she
this
was
lion cub that
unconscious,
they rescue
she underwent
that becomes
an
the lion,
entire
cowardly lion.
pregnancy and gave birth to a son. Like, why? So this son, his name is Lear, and he is Elphaba and Fierro's child. But Elphaba literally didn't even associate him as anything close to her child until years down the line. The book made it seem like the relationship between him and Elphaba, when he was first introduced as like an already 8-year-old child, it was kind of like he was a stray that took, like an orphan, I guess, that took a particular liking to Elphaba, and so she just kind of like tolerated him and let him accompany her, which is not unlike, I guess, the relationship between her and her parents when she was young.
Cake
So I
is
guess
so
it
good.
kind of mirrors in that sense. Elphaba and Lear go on a journey to Winky Country because Elphaba wants to tell Fierro's
What I can't
wife,
eat right
whose
now
name
is going to
is
get thrown away, so
Sarima,
I'm trying to eat
how he died.
as much as I can.
And during this journey, Elphaba adopts a dog named Killjoy after she subconsciously kills its owner with magic by using bees to sting him to death, and I think he falls off a cliff as well. Don't even ask me about that, because I don't even... Every single thing that happens in this book, I'm completely dumbfounded and flabbergasted. She also runs across the water, making ice as she goes along, kind of like Elsa when she ran off into the distance, to adopt and save a baby monkey that she names Chistery. She was gifted crows by this elephant princess, and then she adopted those murderous bees as well. So Elphaba, her crows, the bees, her dog, a monkey, and her son Lear were welcomed into Fierro's wife's home. Nanny also comes and ends up joining them later on. It's just one big happy family. And so Sarima, the wife, lives there with her 3 kids and 6 sisters. I don't think she ever hears about how Fierro died though, because she kept refusing, and she already had her own speculations about how Fierro potentially had an affair with Glinda, and her husband, Glinda's husband, murdered Fierro after finding out, but the sisters think that Fierro was involved with something political, which he kind of...
This is literally the book
as a result of
Wicked.
Elphaba, but Elphaba ends up moving into the tower of the house, which was supposed to be a temporary...
It's not written by L. Frank.
but
It's
she lived there for
literally
quite some
fan
time,
fiction
and then
that is
Elphaba
now a
finds
movie
this
with
book of
Ariana
magic
Grande.
in a random closet called the Grimmery, which only she can read. Elphaba also has a broom that she thought wasn't magic, but ends up later finding out that it does in fact give her the ability to fly. It's a pretty important discovery there. And then one day, one of Sarima's sons, Manek, traps Lear in a well in a game of hide and seek. And so Lear is missing for quite some time. Poor Lear, like, trapped in this well. And so when they eventually end up finding Lear, he's basically dead and needs to be resuscitated by Elphaba. And apparently, like, when he comes back to, when he is revived, he tells Elphaba that a sentient fish told him that he is in fact Fiero's son, which is the truth. But then Lear doesn't really consider Elphaba to be his mother because he doesn't think that it would be possible for her to be his mom. But then later, he ends up considering her to be his mom. But conversely, after this near-death experience, even though Lear doesn't consider Elphaba to be his mom in this moment, Elphaba, at this point, realizes her motherly affections towards Lear. Is it Lear or Lur? Lyre? So then, because of this whole situation, Elphaba was really angry at Manek, who's the one that originally locked Lear down there. And this causes her to subconsciously kill someone again by having an icicle fall on Manek's head. And, you know, the impact, it just, like, it cracks his skull and kills him instantly. And so Elphaba then uses her broom to fly to Munchkinland, where she discovers her sister has become the Wicked Witch of the East. She has these magic powers, which is weird, because, you know, again, her being really religious, magic would be the opposite of what you would want to get into. But during this trip, Nessarose promises to leave the silver shoes gifted to her by Frex to Elphaba in her will, because Elphaba always ended up coveting these shoes. I mean, I don't want to sound dumb, because I will say that there's probably a lot of stuff in this book that went over my head, but it doesn't really make sense for Elphaba's character to be so hung up on these shoes. But maybe I get it, like, the need for parental affection, especially when there's one sibling who's clearly the favorite. I imagine there would definitely be some resentment there. But you also have to understand that Elphaba's character is really aloof, and it doesn't seem like she would be all that affected by something like that, like a singular gift towards Nessarose. If you're familiar with this, let me know what you think, if it's in line with Elphaba's character, her obsession with the shoes. But anyways, when Elphaba returns, only Nanny and all her animals are there. And Nanny tells her that everyone else was taken by the wizard soldiers who are called the Gale Force. And only Lear was able to escape these guys later on. And Elphaba learns that only Nor, who is Surima's daughter, is still alive out of everyone that was taken. And so she ends up trying to bargain with the wizard to get Nor back, but she's unsuccessful because the wizard doesn't want to. And so then, after all of this, it's time for the story that you're probably pretty familiar with. A tornado brings Dorothy, who's canonically buff in this book, by the way, and Toto the dog to Munchkinland, and her house drops onto Nessarose, killing the Wicked Witch of the East. So Glinda gives Dorothy the shoes and sends her on her merry way to the wizard to avoid some sort of civil conflict that I didn't really understand what was going on. But Glinda and Elphaba end up having a little reunion when they were going through the whole Nessarose's funeral thing in Munchkinland. But then Elphaba learns about the shoes, and she gets super pissed at Glinda because Elphaba believes those shoes rightfully belong to her, because they do. And Elphaba then goes on to try and kill Madame Morrible again, but she gets there only seconds after her death. So she bashes Madame Morrible's head in with a trophy anyways, just for good measure, you know? And then she ends up taking credit for her death, hoping that word will get back to the wizard about this. Then, Elphaba is informed about Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. She speculates that the Scarecrow might be Fiero in disguise because, like I mentioned, the body was never found. She thought that maybe Fiero's body was just covered in straw, but no, that is not the case. This is kind of the starting point of showing that Elphaba is becoming, like, a little bit more unhinged as time goes on and as more and more tragedies befall her. She decides to summon Dorothy to her tower by using a pack of dogs, including Killjoy, which is like the original dog that she adopted. But Dorothy and the gang think they're being attacked by the dogs, so they kill them all. And then Elphaba learns of this, sends crows to peck at their eyes, they all get killed. Then she sends bees after them, they all get killed. And so also, I should mention that you know how Dorothy wants to ask the wizard to go home, and then the lion wants courage, the Tin Man wants a heart, and the Scarecrow wants a brain. We all know that pretty well. Well, it's revealed in this book that Elphaba wants a soul, and Lear wants a father. That's what they would ask for if they had to make a request of the wizard. And fun fact, the reason why the wizard's soldiers won't interfere with Dorothy and her gang is because Dorothy's last name is Gale, and they're the Gale Force, and they're superstitious and they think that means something, and so they don't want any harm to come to her. Actually, in fact, all of the characters don't want any harm to come to Dorothy. They all think she's a really nice gal. And so when Elphaba starts holding this resentment towards Dorothy, like the people around her, particularly Lear, gets concerned that she will harm Dorothy. But I mean, can you blame her? Dorothy and her crew killed all of her pets and her sister, and she took the damn shoes. But anyways, you want to hear another not so fun fact? A randomly brutal detail that just is thrown in there because that's kind of how it works in this book. So basically, one of the soldiers joked about gang R-wording Dorothy when she comes and visits Elphaba, because these soldiers were stationed around her on the order, the command of the wizard to keep an eye on Elphaba. So this particular soldier was stripped and castrated by his superiors and tied to a windmill, and Elphaba later ends up killing him. Random, but go off, I guess. Elphaba then uses her flying monkeys, who are descendants of Chistery. They successfully bring Dorothy to the tower. And Elphaba at first was defensive, accusing Dorothy of taking everything away from her. Naturally, like I talked about everything that Dorothy did to Elphaba. And Elphaba tells Dorothy that she knows the wizard ordered Dorothy to kill her, which is also true. And so Dorothy responds by saying that the reason that she came to Elphaba was to apologize and seek forgiveness for killing Nessa Rose. And this shocked Elphaba, so much so that she ended up accidentally lighting herself on fire because she lit her broom on fire to potentially take the shoes by force. So Dorothy innocently throws water on her to extinguish the flames, and because of Elphaba's water allergy, she ends up dying in Dorothy's arms. Dorothy then brings Elphaba's belongings to the wizard as proof of her death. One of which is the bottle of the elixir that he gave to Milena, which causes him to realize that Elphaba is his daughter, and he is very distraught over this fact. So both Dorothy and the wizard end up leaving Oz. So our world that we know and the land of Oz are connected, and it's not even by a portal or anything. I think you just have to keep traveling outwards and eventually you'll get there. Like the wizard got there in a balloon. That was book 1. Quite a roller coaster, if I do say so myself. I'll give more of a brief recap of books 2 through 4 because I didn't actually read them. I looked up summaries.
There's
Sorry,
4 books in the Wicked
I go
series.
through that 3 more times, y'all. I had just about enough of Gregory and his antics. So the next book is called Son of a Witch, and it focuses on Elphaba's son, Lear. So Glinda is now the acting ruler of Oz, but she is only in that position for a very short amount of time. Lear goes to look for Noor, his half-sister, in the Emerald City, and he becomes convinced that she's in South Stairs, which is an underground city that's basically a huge prison. And so he meets with Shell, Elphaba's younger brother, remember, who, and I quote, according to this summary, undertakes missions of mercy in South Stairs, which involves comforting female prisoners by injecting them with extract of poppy flower and taking sex as payment.
Oh, so giving them heroin. How nice.
Gregory! Shell takes Lear to the mayor of the city, and they learn Noor recently escaped by hiding in the carcass of a hog. And so Lear flies out of South Stairs on Elphaba's broom, but he gets attacked by dragons and loses the broom to them. And so he ends up being watched over and cared for by a young girl from Quadling Country named Candle, and she was watching over him while he was sick and unconscious. And later on, when Lear comes to, she reveals to him that she is pregnant with his child, and he says, no, that can't be the case. I don't remember having sex with you. And she says, oh, no, you did, while you were unconscious. Hello? Why? Why the excessive R word every time? I've had it with you, Gregory. Is that the point, though? Am I missing something? So Lear, think this was, I can't remember at what point, because like the timeline kind of jumped back and forth, but he ended up joining the army for a bit, but he left after following an order to burn down a village, which ended up killing many women and children. Ugh. And then he ends up being asked to go on a mission by these sentient capital B birds who are being hunted down by the very dragons that attacked Lear, because their flying ability makes them formidable spies in the land of Oz, and I think whoever's running the Emerald City is threatened by that. So the mission that the birds give to Lear is to kill the dragons and take back Elphaba's broom that they stole. So Lear manages to poison the dragon's food with the help of the dragon trainer named Trism. So the dragons are destroyed and he recovers the broom. Then he learns that the current ruler of Oz, the Emperor Apostle, is none other than frickin' Shell. So then Trism and Lear become lovers. And this is very brief though, because I feel like Trism is low-key forgotten about in the later books, and he doesn't end up like really interacting with Shell all that much, and Lear ends up becoming more involved with Candle when they have a child, like Candle's pregnant, and then they have to deal with co-parenting, I guess, but Elphaba has a gay son, confirmed. So then eventually Lear goes back to find Candle, and she's gone, but she left a baby girl who, get this, is green. Then, in the third book, called A Lion Among Men, it focuses on the cowardly lion who is named Burr, like BRR Chili's, who has a pet cat, funnily enough. Nor ends up traveling with the Clock of the Time Dragon that I mentioned, the TikTok device. Burr ends up telling his life story to this character named Yackle, who has been a figure throughout all these books, but I feel like she didn't really do all that much to affect the plot, so sorry for the Yackle erasure, but it's later revealed that Yackle came from the Grimoire and was created as a witness to the life of Elphaba. Sure, okay. But basically, Burr ends up living in and leaving a bunch of places out of fear and shame, and eventually he ends up meeting up with Dorothy and her crew. After the Wicked Witch of the West is dead, he gets a lame badge of courage from the wizard, which was not what he wanted. Everyone else got what they wanted, but not him. Later on, he was arrested for being a broker of sorts to other sentient animals, but he will be let off the hook if he finds and brings back the Grimoire. So then the Clock of the Time Dragon arrives at the place Burr and Yackle are having this conversation, and it turns out they happen to have the Grimoire with them. What a coincidence. Then it is revealed that Burr's pet cat was actually a cat hired by the wizard's government to spy on Elphaba and played a small role in Fiero's death, and the cat is then imprisoned in the Grimoire by Yackle, who also ends up getting reabsorbed into the Grimoire as well. Then we have the last book, Out of Oz. I feel like the lore just drops, and it's really kind of bizarre, but I guess it does end up tying up plot holes, so I can't really complain. In this one, the Emerald City and the state of Munchkinland are at war over this lake. We learn that Burr marries Nor, who now goes by Eleonora. The Clock of the Time Dragon visits Glinda while she's on house arrest for potential treason to Oz, and she gets the Grimoire as a result of the Clock of the Time Dragon visiting her, because that's where the Grimoire was located. And so among Glinda's staff is a strange, underdeveloped child named Rain. So Rain ends up being revealed to be Lear and Candle's child, aka Elphaba's granddaughter, but currently she's mysteriously not green. When Glinda uses the spell to stop dragons from invading Munchkinland, she sends Rain off with the Clock of the Time Dragon crew to protect her. So this crew ends up traveling to various places because they're on the run from Emerald City people. I guess the Clock of the Time Dragon is breaking down and eventually falls into a lake, never to be seen again. Rain eventually reunites with her parents, Lear and Candle, but she doesn't particularly care about them, like daughter, like father, like grandmother, I guess. After that, the group disbands and Rain ends up with Eleonora. Then Dorothy comes back to Oz and is put on trial for killing the two wicked witches because they're revered now and she is found guilty of those crimes, but she's rescued by Burr and 2 others, and they escape out of Munchkinland. Meanwhile, Eleanor dies, and Rain is enrolled in school where she meets a young boy named Tip. Tip and Rain meet Burr and Dorothy. Then Rain and Dorothy head to the Emerald City to look for Lear, who had gone into hiding, and to look for the Grimmery, when they're caught in a dragon attack that wreaks havoc on the city. Then there's a parlay between the Emerald City and Munchkinland, with the rulers, Shell and Mombi, respectively. And I haven't mentioned Mombi, even though she's pretty important, but I'm really trying to give you surface level details here because I can't really be bothered with anything else. So everyone congregates in this parlay. Rain and Tip reunite. They're in love, by the way. People think that Lear is dead, but he's not. He's actually trapped in the body of a dead elephant. Don't even get me freaking started. But when Mombi uses the Grimmery to revert Lear back to his natural form, something goes wrong. Not only does Lear come back, but Rain's green skin color returns. Apparently, Lear concealed her skin color with magic to prevent her from being an outcast. It is also revealed that Tip, aka Rain's boyfriend, is actually the freaking Ozma-Tipitarius, the lost queen of Oz. Elphaba is also rumored to return. Dun, dun, dun. In the end, Mombi and Glinda are placed in South Stairs, but Glinda gets released shortly after, probably by Elphaba. It's a little bit unclear. Burr is made the governor of Oz until Ozma comes of age, and to that I say, what do you mean until she comes of age? She's been living in this young boy's body for several decades. I think she can take charge by now, right? Rain then uses the Grimmery to send Dorothy back to Earth. She then
This shit is
buries
wild.
the Grimmery and
How
it
is this
sprouts
a
a tree of
fucking
broomsticks.
movie
She
that
takes
is
one
featured
and uses it to fly away with the
full length
Grimmery. Just
in
fly for
theaters.
ages and ages, and that's how the book ends. But by the way, Mombi was the one who transformed Ozma-Tipitarius into Tip, and so Tip was seen as this kitchen boy servant that was serving Mombi for decades. And Mombi was actually the one who ruled Munchkinland after Nessa Rose. So yeah, there are some good things about it. I don't want to be too harsh because I don't want to sound dumb for bashing, a work that is seemingly, well respected. The musical changes a bunch of stuff. It has a similar ebb and flow to the plot, but there are definitely a bunch of key differences. And hey, maybe when part 2 of the Ariana Grande Cynthia Erivo movie comes out, I'll do Wicked according to the musical, and we could see how that goes. I actually saw Wicked on Broadway when I was really young, so I don't really remember, and I definitely was not following the plot, but this is engraved in my memory. It's a core memory. I remember the very start of the show with the opening song where the music is that was so good to me. I just remember being immediately entranced and sad from the second those notes started playing. That's a good song. I should go and listen to it actually. But I remember really liking Wicked the musical. I definitely didn't see it with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth because I was way too young at the time. I mean, when they were performing it on Broadway, I was just born when it premiered. But I am curious to see about how this rendition of Wicked the movie came to be. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you've been following the press run at all. There's been some, jokes. Obviously, I've been singing the line from the Target commercial with Cynthia Erivo. If you've not seen that, you've been completely missing my reference there. Lots of Ozempic allegations towards Cynthia and Ariana, and they do, they're very visibly super, super skinny.
So I made a comment on YouTube this morning, and it has almost 2,000 likes. Dude, this video, it was really crazy. Owner finds dog after 3 years. And then the dog realizes, oh my god. He literally woke up from a nap and was just like he was home, He woke up from a nap, his owner's calling him, he's just walking to where he's going. And then he realized all of a sudden, holy shit, Wait a minute. My life, I've been living on the streets for 3 years. Holy shit. And then the dog, like, whatever. So I wrote this comment that was like, he woke from his nap hearing that familiar name, but this time it wasn't a dream. His master really was there to take him home. And the people are eating it up. YouTube is so funny. The way people are. The way that it works.
So people are talking about that, but everybody loves to talk about everybody else's
It was a
body,
precious
so I don't
video.
really want to throw my hat in the ring on that one. There's also a running joke that in every single interview with Cynthia and Ariana, they just start crying. They're just very emotional over this whole journey. And you know what? I can't even blame them. Like, that's so cool that they're living
It's
out their
literally like
childhood
listening
dreams.
to
I think
someone's
they're both
fever dream.
definitely dear kids. And Ariana, actually, I think she was on Broadway. And Cynthia
It's
as
definitely
well.
targeted at
There
middle
was this
school to
one
high school
little
age
debacle
girls.
where a fan redid the Wicked
That's
movie poster to look
that's
more
the
like
fan
the
base.
poster that is like iconic for the Broadway show. And Cynthia, the actress who plays Elphaba, got really, really pissed off and went to her Instagram story and was like, how dare you, like, this is, like, she just went off on this person who was just, like, really trying to innocently remake this poster to look more like the original one. It wasn't, they weren't trying to do Cynthia erasure in the slightest. But then Cynthia later came back and was like, yeah, you know what, I probably should have talked to my friends about that one, or should have let off some steam there, but that was my bad. And you know what, that's that.
She wasn't
It
that
was just
quite
a little,
that graceful
little
about it.
scuffle. But anyways, so that's pretty much all I have to say about Wicked for now. I have not seen the movie as I'm currently filming this, obviously, but hopefully I will be able to see it soon. Give some of my money to the Wicked machine, help them earn back all the money they spent on marketing. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know.
Like, what? It's just very, like, I had no idea that this is the, like, like, my cousin, when she was, like, 13, maybe, read those books. It smells like cake is being baked. I keep getting tricked. Is that your freaking nose? Yep, it is. I probably put my butt right in the dog's nose. It's getting a little bit chilly. I have a toothache.
These potatoes are considered a delicacy, and here is why they are some of the most expensive in the world. These
Oh yeah.
Shout out to EA for this exclusive looks at trains. Hello, mayors, and welcome back to Building with Smith. I'm your host, Smith, and yes, I decided to open up SimCity Build It, although it's been a couple of months, because I heard that I need to be trading in my
Ooh, it's bouncing off my arm.
now for a train conductor hat.
Oh,
Yes,
Adam's home.
the trains have made it into SimCity Build It, and those of you who have known that trains are going to be coming to the game for a couple of months now, but now we finally see them. And if you're new to the game, I will say, in order to access trains, you do need to be at level 13 in the game. Now, the info that you've all been waiting for. There are 9 unique trains and 9 unique train stations. Now, if you get into the game right now, you can claim your free train and your free train station, and they're going to give you something called rail simoleons. You can use rail simoleons to purchase things in the game. Now, the whole idea about this train station.
Why did you record that in a fucking on the road?
Trains, manage a fleet of trains, and earn these rail simoleons. Now, Smith is going to show you how exactly to do that. In order to access the trains, you'll want to tap on your specialization button right there. And then you'll want to click on where it says mass transit. Now here are your train stations right here. Now let's go ahead and look at this first one to see some of the specs. Alright, so it tells you that it covers an area of 8 by 8 and can hold from 40 to 240.
I just want to know how to level this shit up. We can...
Something a little more dynamic. Alright, so this is my Green Valley region, and like I said, there are 9 unique train stations. One of them is Central Station. You should be familiar with Central Station. And let's see how the track team did on this design. Pretty good, actually.
I would really like to know just how to level them up.
This is what we have rolling around our city right now. It's got one car, and it can fit 40 passengers. Now, it looks like we can upgrade it here to 48, and that's how that works. Now, there's a cool down time, which is 15 minutes, and it requires a level 2 rail simoleon bond. Your rail simoleon bond is where you keep your rail simoleons. It's just kind of like a storage for your rail simoleons, and you can increase that size by increasing the bond size there. Then now you have your Mama line. This is another train. I guess we don't have that access here, but there's the LM train. These are black and white. Yeah. Your Magnificent Mayor train. That is a train that I think I deserve. And then your Northwest Railways. And then you can get a little more quicker. The Quill Railroad. OP. The SC line.
Yeah, okay.
And if you want to just buy rail simoleons, you can pick those up. There's 8 more of those. Now I should have enough to upgrade. Alright, I can upgrade my car now for the rail simoleons. And upgrading my train now to level 2. So that means that I can fit 8 more people going from 40 to 80. And the cooldown time is now less. Now let's go see if that train is back in the station. Looks like it is.
Be right back. Hello, tiny dogs. Tiny biscuit makers. No matter how much people try to make you hide, they will. Go home. Go home, Piggy. They do every time she goes to the side. No, Piggy, no. Go on. She wants to leave her so bad. Go, get out of here. Get out of here. What is on her back? Never mind, it fell off. Yay, Adam's home. Oops, right in front of the fucking stove. Okay, I want to know how to level up my damn rail simoleon
Let's
thing.
dispatch that train off. But hey, I want to show you something else in one of my other regions.
Piggy tried to come inside.
A lot of details there. See folks walking.
See.
What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. Today, I'm going to answer a few of your guys' questions, and then I'm going to talk briefly about how to farm rares. The first question that you guys had asked me in the comments was, how come I don't have any beach specialization buildings on my capital map? I do have the Delta, and that is purely just for looks. It's not really doing anything as far as boosting population. But normally I would have all my beach items out for display, but because I am still missing the limestone Cliff's map, I am in the process of trying to boost my population, and as you can see, I'm just a little over halfway there. So right now, all of my beach items are actually sitting on my sunny map because they boost my population over there. Once I get this last map unlocked, I plan to redo everything. Okay? I mean, besides my capital map, of course, which I am going to make some changes to my capital, but really, it's pretty much going to remain this, the same. But every other map, I plan to do something similar to what I did on my capital. And
I keep like wanting to like scroll over in her city.
So, a lot of what you
Thank
see
you. That was driving me crazy.
my cities here and on my other maps is not at all how I want them to look. They're strictly only like that for pop boost to unlock that last map. So if that, with that being said, the next question that I see, or not necessarily a question, but a statement that I see you guys making a lot in the comments is that because I had done some videos a while back, and I had basically put that you're going to want to camp around level 8 because that is the level where you're going to have the highest rare find, and people have been stating in the comments that it's level 10 now, and you are correct, it is level 10 now. You have to remember that the video is old, and I haven't done a feeder city in a very long time. So, yes, you are correct. You are going to want to camp right around the level 10 area. Now, between level 10 and level 18, you're not going to see a huge decline in your rare find. I mean, every time you unlock an item, essentially, you're taking away a little bit each time, because every item you unlock is another item that's out there on the global market that it's going to cycle through your global trade. So the less items that you have unlocked, the better odds you have of getting rares in your HQ.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
So that brings me to my next topic, and that is how to farm rares. Somebody had asked this. That is a very good question. I never actually thought about doing a video on that. There's not a lot to it, but I will say this, okay? When you guys are looking for rare items, let's say that you're looking for
Dude, it's fucking
storage, okay?
boring.
And you are below level 30, or actually, it really don't even matter what level you are, but when you go to your HQ, right here, the global trade, okay, this, as you know, cycles every 30 seconds. So you have
Good
the main
luck.
items that are listed here. Sorry for you guys.
What?
What
Do you want to go outside? What do you want?
Yes,
You want to go outside?
higher level people that have
Do you wanna go
everything
outside?
maxed out, they do
Or
sell
do you want
their rares.
food?
However, they normally
Oh yeah.
sell them
You want food?
to
Is that what you
people in
want?
their club. Okay.
Yeah,
The
you want some
lower
fucking
level
food.
people are
You're
actually
such a
the ones
fat
that are
fuck.
more likely
Baby,
to sell their rares
Jesus.
at low market because they're new to the game. They don't realize how important
You can have a
the
little
items
tiny
are.
bit. You can't have a whole lot. You're
They
seriously on a diet.
need the coins because again they are
I
new to
knew
the
it.
game and they don't
Yes,
realize
that's what he
that
wanted.
they're actually better off making coins.
I know
in
my
another
dog.
way. So
All his
anytime
different
that you
sounds.
are
He tries
going
to
through
speak
this,
and he says mom. He'll be like,
this area
Mom!
here,
Elliot's
you're
heard
gonna
it.
run
I've
into,
heard
like,
it many,
lower level items.
clear as day.
Okay, so like the plastic, for example. Now let's say that you go to
Probably because he's heard Elliot say it so many fucking
that couldn't
times.
work out any better. Now
Mom,
let's say
mom,
that
mom.
you guys are here like this, right? Now because this guy's level 35, he might not do it, but what typically happens is people will post a rare item for sale and they'll see how quickly it sells and then they'll post another one like right afterwards, and then they see how quick it sells and they post another one. It's almost like they're like, oh wow, people are actually buying this for full price, So just maybe You know, keep
What?
opening it, closing it, and seeing if you get lucky. And if you do, stay there until they stop posting rares. Another reason for this can be because they had something advertised.
I
in the
totally
club
camp
market,
in
they
people's
didn't
cities
realize it,
and
they
try
were
to, like-
trading with club members, and the club member missed a rare item because you had
That's
purchased
crazy.
it. So they repost the item for the club member, and you're still sitting at that depot, and they don't think you're going to be there.
Yeah,
because
SimCity is a
they don't have
game.
anything advertised anymore. They assume that you left. So keep that in mind. I mean, yeah, it's kind of an asshole thing to do, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. You don't know, but right now you can see the little shield up by his name is actually empty, which means that he is not in a club. So that is not the case here. He's just selling rares, and he didn't max it out for whatever reason, so he lost out on coins. But the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check Daniel City every day, because even if you don't buy even if you don't really go there, it's always good to go there, and for two reasons, okay? Because one,
Are you a happy boy now?
has at least 2 rare items for sale.
Do you need to go potty?
Or at
No,
least
you
one,
wanna lay in the
but
chair.
I'm pretty sure it's 2. And then he always
Yes,
has
I
stuff
am.
up for the baseline
I
price.
figured that I'd just
Right.
let you guys
So
be fly on the
no matter
walls
what
for a
he
little
has
while.
for sale,
Because this is what I would be
unless
doing if you weren't
it's
here. Literally
like
this. What I'm doing
plastic
right now.
or metal or something. If it's anything
I'm
else
cooking
other
my
than
potatoes. I got Hasselback potatoes.
purchase it. Purchase everything that he has up, because you can make coins off that, you know? So I
Text Adam, do you want some cream of mushroom soup that I doctored up? It's really good.
you know, whatever
I got
it is,
crackers
so
too.
max it out. Now, the best way that I can explain why you want to hit low level items.
Text Adam. If so, come get it.
Sense, but I'm going to explain it for those of you who might have trouble understanding. But basically,
Text Adam. I also have Ritz crackers.
the better odds you have of finding rares for sale, because they're the lower level people, right? So realistically, if you're clicking on things like hamburgers and ice cream to find rares, you know that that person has to be that level, you know, that higher level to even have that for sale. So you want to click the lower level items, hoping you're getting lower level people. Now, yes, it is possible that you can click a stack of metal and end up at a person's depot that's level, you know, 99, but
Text Adam. I also have cake.
significantly lower. That is how I farm for rares. Now, the other thing too, you're going to want to, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, I don't know if you're playing on phone, tablet, computer, however you do it, I've noticed that if you connect to Wi-Fi and you have a damn good internet connection, you can actually hit like 4 cities before the 30 seconds changes. Now, for most of us that play on phones and we use mobile data, this actually doesn't happen. We're lucky to hit 1 city by the time the 30 seconds cycles through. And oftentimes what will happen is when you actually, like, let's say there was a camera up and I actually click that camera, you know, yeah, the odds of it being there and not selling before I get there are slim, but it's always good to try.
Yup.
Another thing that I've noticed that people do, and we've all been there, okay, we've all done it. You are racing to a depot and you get there and your storage is full. It's the worst, okay? Like when you got like
Yes,
more
it
space,
is.
It's a stack of 5 cameras or something.
Yep.
Can't buy it.
Yep.
Oh man, that sucks. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I have went to someone's depot and seen probably like 50 rare items up for sale, and I had the coins, but I didn't have the space.
Yup.
I didn't even
And then
have
you
enough
have to
for one
exit
stack,
that depot and
that
you
hurts.
lose.
It really does. But
Oh man, I want to talk to her.
that is why I made it a rule that I do not shop on the global market unless I have at least 50 to 75 space available.
Samesies. I'm
Now,
making sure I
the reason
empty
I
out.
put that number is because, as you know, when you're on the global market, you have a lot of cities, and next thing you know, you don't have no room for anything.
And I'm
So-
broke.
I mean, you can pick any number that you like. If you want to have 200 space, go for it. But I do recommend that you have around 50 to 75 space available, and that way, if you do come across a depot with a ton of stuff for sale, that you have the space. So the other thing too is that a lot of people will not buy rares because
Come in!
they are getting low on coins. It's not that they can't buy them; it's that they don't want to risk losing all.
Open the door!
Now, my advice to you is to buy all rares.
Mushroom soup and
Not
cake.
necessarily airport, beach, or mountain, but
I
those are
just
the
made
medium
this. It might even still
storage.
have a little
Buy
warmth
them
to
every
it. I
single
doctored
time
it
you
up.
see them.
It's really
Okay.
good. Oh, wait. Hold on.
If you end up in a bind where you gotta sell them,
You
know
gotta
you're
do
gonna
that.
sell
You gotta crush them
right
up
away.
and put
They're
them in
like,
there.
you're not
You're
gonna
welcome.
have any trouble getting your coins back.
I'll come and wash
So
the
it's
pot in a
better
minute.
off
I gotta
to
wash my
risk
other
it
pan.
and put yourself broke,
Huh?
and then possibly have
Oh,
to
yeah.
sell them. Which I don't ever see a reason to sell rares. I don't see it. Okay. I don't care if you got 0 coins. Okay. And you're doing an epic challenge. I do not see how you can justify selling rare items. They don't sell for anywhere near enough. If you are so
Oh.
hurt that you
I
can't
gotta give him one of these
that you
potatoes,
got
too.
to sell your rares during an epic, then you need to reevaluate how you're doing your epics. Okay? You need to go and watch my video and get your epics done and not start them unless you have enough points. Because selling your rares is gonna hurt you so much. Okay? I cannot voice and stress that
Oh
enough.
my god,
That
I'm
you
covered
guys,
in hair.
there's no reason for it. You're better off sitting there. You're better off throwing a
No way, it landed in the trash.
and making nails on silver or gold tokens than you are selling your rares. So if you guys are selling your rares for money, just to have a coin, don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
What a pretty background!
If a lot of you listen to me, it's gonna make the global market even more scarce to get rares, but you're also gonna want to hit any and every bubble, like little opinion bubbles in your city. That is another good way to get rares. Anytime you have video ads, go ahead and hit those. Watch that 30-second video.
It isn't 30 seconds, girl.
But as far as farming rares, that's the best way to do it. Okay, that's the best way I have found to do it. If anybody has anything that they would like to add, I am all ears. Please put it in the comments below. If you guys have
Okay, let's see. Trains.
Alright, let's see what's going on in SimCity. It's been a while since I've been on here. I got back on I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. Kind of looked through the menu, the pass, trains, these stupid stores.
What?
So it looks like basically all they've done since I've been off the game is make it more
What?
difficult.
I don't
Which,
have no food.
you know,
It's cooking.
when you have everything unlocked,
And then I'm gonna. No, it's not for you though. You can't have any potatoes with lemon pepper salt
If you're
on it.
on the Missy's building guide and you have a lot
I'm
of
sorry,
resources,
you can't have any of it. No
and you're
food for
level up,
Orly.
it's not going to be as much of a problem.
Oh, his little tail stopped wagging.
So let's look at the trains for starters. This is
Oh,
about the dumbest thing.
I love
Let's
you.
just start there.
I do. I can give you a treat if you want a treat. Do you want a treat?
Obviously,
Huh?
you're going to select.
Does Orly
I'm
want a
not
treat?
gonna just sit here and upgrade this
Does
for
he?
fun. But yeah, you dispatch it.
You want a
and
piece of duck
the only
jerky?
thing I've noticed that this is
Duck
only good
jerky?
for is basically the contest mirrors tasks. Like they're easy. You just dispatch it. You know, wait, whatever.
How about that?
And then
Oh yeah, that's your favorite.
easy points. So I just did a circle real quick, and then I can dispatch it. And then you go to your little coin section here, where they totally rob you, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't buy any of this, like the storage. No. I'm assuming that if you actually like the trains, like for design purposes, or you know, you want to, you can go ahead and
Do you need to go outside and go potty? I'll take you outside.
bolts and whatnot.
What do you need, my friend? Use your words. What's up? What do you want? Oh, you are using your words. You're literally, he's staring and pointing with his nose at this toaster oven. No food. No food. It's for Adam. And mommy. And mom. Mom and Adam. Food for me. For me. I'm sorry. No, I know that you want it, okay? I'm already aware of that. I know. But that doesn't mean you can have it. I love you and I don't want you to die. Okay? What? Do you want to go lay on the bed? Stress yawn. Do you want to go lay down over there? You need to move the curtain? Oopsies. Okay. You want to go lay on the bed? Go ahead. You can go up here and go lay down. You want to go lay down over there? Do you want to go outside? You want to lay there and pout? And stare at the toaster oven? You want me to scratch your belly while you stare at the toaster oven? So annoying. This dog, dude, I swear to God. Dude, your skin is gonna start stretching. Your hair's gonna start getting sparse if you don't stop gaining weight. Chunkarella. I'm not giving you any of them potatoes. What? Stopito. No. Stopito. You can't boss me around.
Guess what? Listen to this. So the guy who denied most people in the company, who's the CEO of the company, that denied 1/3 of all their customers healthcare when they got sick.
No, an AI did that, but they didn't fix the AI.
What?
So now
That's what you're doing.
Headline says torrent of hate for health insurance industry.
Do you make that face
CEO's
at me?
killing. Hate, not anger.
He knows I'm making fun of him.
Criticism. No, the
I don't know if you can
Times goes
see
with hate
this.
because
What he's doing. Please don't
we
fall
know
down.
where they stand.
That was gonna fall.
Well, hate's also legitimate, number one. Number two, Taylor Lorenz was practically squirting hatred on Twitter about it.
Oh, now you're gonna stop doing it because I'm.
I mean,
He's got his foot on.
tomorrow, they're going to start saying how the health insurance companies are a
What?
victim. The shooting.
He's stopping it because I've been
the
making
United
fun of
Healthcare
him.
Executive in Manhattan
What?
was unleashed America's frustrations with an industry
What? I love
that
you.
often denies coverage and
I'll hold your
reimbursement for
hand if you
medical
want.
claims. You think?
Okay, just by the way.
Are you trying to
it's
drag
not
my
just
hand to your
insurance companies. It's a real circle jerk because doctors.
He's
are
making
in
my
on it,
hand go to his
pharmacies
belly.
are on it. Well, I remember going to a chiropractor in Beverly Center, which that's my bad. And I was like, I didn't want to give her my insurance card because I feel like she's going to overcharge my insurance company for this help. Everybody's a pig at the trough on this. So that's why when you try to go fix it, they go, and you can point to the other link in the chain and say,
This is what you want.
it's all of them together. So you really can't shoot your way out of that.
So, according to the New York Times,
I love you.
this shooting
You are
has
the
unleashed
most
a torrent of
expressive,
morbid
emotive
Hey,
animal I have ever known in my entire
Not
life.
like when they deny a person with brain cancer.
I swear you were a person in another life.
Millions of people get fucked by
Yeah.
being paid into.
That's not more.
You with the belly. He's
Hey,
go back.
all this debate Romney and the guy, and they go, what should happen to a man that doesn't have insurance? And some ghoul goes, let him die.
Yeah.
Talking about where those
you're making me so happy.
for the
What are you, the head of the guy who runs the Twitter account for Libertarian Party of New Hampshire?
Let's give you some orange juice.
That's
And then I gotta go
exactly
back to
what
my
they
food.
tweeted out
I
today.
gotta go back to
Wow,
my
he's
food.
really
No, I gotta go back to my
LGBTQ,
food.
but not health insurance. That's
It's
strange
like holding
because I would
on.
think that, you want the
So it has unleashed
Like
a
curls
torrent of
around.
alarming belief from patients and others who say they have had negative experiences
back to
with
the
health
belly.
insurance
Go
companies.
back to the belly.
And some of the hardest times are the
I mean,
things.
like the times when they were seeking should have their insurance pay for it. Is that what that means?
Kurt, it is unclear.
He's so cute. I love my dog so stinking much. He's so
what
funny.
motivated the incident, or whether it was tied to
He
Mr.
might eat little
Thompson's
carrots.
work.
I don't remember if he likes them anymore. He does not have diarrhea
You
anymore.
don't think there's a problem with the insurance industry?
He's
do you?
good. He had a solid poop today, actually, while I was texting Kim earlier.
That did not stop social media commentators from leaping to conclusions and from showing a blatant lack of sympathy over the death of a man who was a husband and a father of 2 children. Boy, hot on the heels of pedophiles looking to normalize their image in the eyes of the public comes the most powerful people in the
Like, we're
world
literally holding
feeling
hands back
sorry
here.
for themselves because one of them went down.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I bet a lot of dads
He needs, like,
watch
moisturizer for his
Yeah.
feet.
died 'cause they didn't get
And he
insurance
needs
they
to
paid into.
like
So it's
something
kinda
for his
weird
toes,
to
in between his
send out this
toes.
one. That's odd.
That's really
Starting to smell
His
like
wife didn't sound too upset in him.
Fritos. Okay, you can't grab my
Talk
toes like
about
that, babe.
selective
You got those
sympathy.
sharp ass claws. He's got like fingers, and he like literally goes like
Thoughts
this,
and deductibles to the family.
and like grabs
One
you,
comment.
and so he like hooks onto whatever he's got.
Video of the shooting posted online by CNN. Unfortunately, my condolences
Ow,
are out
buddy.
of network.
Gotta
Oh,
stop.
borders
That
count when
hurts.
it's insurance, don't they?
He's literally got his fingers
I wish I had a
wrapped
stand-up
around
set
my
to that.
fingers.
Do all these jokes.
Okay.
On TikTok,
I can't pull
one
my finger
user
away.
wrote, I'm an ER nurse, and the things I've
He's
seen
caught me.
dying patients get, and the things
Why are you
I've seen
looking at me
dying
like
patients
that?
get denied for by insurance makes me physically sick. I just can't feel sympathy for him because of all of those patients and their families. Wow. Why is this nurse so
Gonna
full
hold
of
hands
hate?
with my dog. Don't mind me.
I bet it's gonna affect her next TikTok lockdown dance.
So let me get this straight, Kurt. There are people
Are you gripping? It was hurting your fingers. Use your muscles like that, huh? Yeah.
There is resentment towards the healthcare industry.
Using your fingers is hard work. I have some, I
They
know.
must all work at various media agencies.
New York Times.
Except,
They must all work.
dude, even Taylor Lorenz is in
Even
touch with
Taylor
that.
Lorenz.
A crazy person with a face burqa.
The dark commentary after the death of Mr. Thompson, a 50-year-old vampire, blood-sucking parasite.
By the way, Dark Commentary was my old goth band in high school.
Yeah, this 50-year-old parasite vampire insurance executive from Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Oh, where all good things come from, like Tim Waltz, who's connected to this guy.
Highlighted the anger and frustration over the state of healthcare in America, where those with private insurance often find themselves in Kafkaesque tangles. Well, I'm in a tangle.
Oh, well, it's weird to not say that's dark. I mean, Kafka's pretty dark.
really
You can
wanna,
choose
like,
the same
trim his
descriptor that
feet
you use
hair.
for the people that were rejoicing over this.
While seeking reimbursement for medical treatment and are often denied it.
You know why they got an AI to do it? Because I'll bet people that work there, it gets to them. So that's why we need an AI, a machine to tell you, go fuck yourself.
Messages that law enforcement
You see it,
officials
right there.
say were found on bullet
Right
casings
there.
at the
Stay.
scene.
Right there. Stop. Right there.
At the scene of the shooting in front
job.
of the Midtown Hotel.
I'll give you a treat when we're all done, okay?
Delay, deny
You want a treat?
are two words
Stay
familiar
right
to
there.
many Americans
Put your foot right
who
there.
have interacted with
Put your foot
insurance
right there.
companies for almost anything.
Come on, put
other
it there.
than routine
Oh, now you don't want to put
visits.
your
Mr.
paw
Thompson
on me?
was chief
Little sneak.
executive of
Come
his
on, put your
company's
paw up there.
insurance
Come on, you can
division,
do it.
which reported
Yes, good job.
$281
Now stay.
billion in
Hold on,
revenue
and I'll
last
get you a
year.
treat, okay?
I go to
wait.
a routine visit to get my
Wait.
Ozempic, and then I'm like,
Uh,
hey, maybe check me out
put
for
it back.
problems. Like, then we don't have
Put it back and I'll give you a treat.
They're
I'll go get it right now and hold it in my
providing-
hand, so I'll show you I'm serious.
coverage, not actual health care, providing coverage which they deny to millions
Okay,
of
put your paw right
Americans
there.
through the health plans it sold
Put
to
your paw right there.
individuals, employers, and people under government
Put your paw
programs
there.
like Medicare.
Come on.
The division employs
Give
roughly
me your foot.
140,000 people.
Give me your foot.
140,000 people are a division?
Hey, look,
Yes,
I'm not gonna
right
save
there.
your life, but
Right
we'll
there.
trans
Good
your
boy.
kid.
Good boy. Right there. Okay.
Wow.
Now, wait. Wait.
Stephen Meyer, the chair of the management
No,
division of
wait.
Columbia
Right
Business
there.
School, said
Wait.
the attack
Right
could
there.
send
Wait.
shockwaves through the broader health insurance
Right
industry.
there.
Well, I hope
Nope.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paw. Put your paw right there. Come on. Put your foot up.
All right.
About,
You gotta
about
your foot up.
7 chief executives of publicly
You want
traded
a treat?
companies
Put your
die
foot up.
each year. But almost
Come on,
always
give me your
from
foot.
health
Yeah, right there.
complications or
there.
accidents. A targeted
job.
attack could have much larger. You think? Boy, this guy's a regular Columbo.
Wait, is he saying they don't
What are you
have
doing?
good insurance?
Oh, you're trying to train me into giving
They
you more
also
treats
get
now. Come on,
denied,
give me your
or
foot.
Is this like they kill each other a lot?
No.
The
your
insurance
foot right
industry
there.
is not the most loved, to put it mildly, said Mr.
I know
Meyer.
that it's
Why are you
sensitive.
even
That's why I'm
quoting
trying to
this guy?
trim it for you, baby.
If you're a C-suite executive of another insurance company, I would be thinking, what's this mean for me?
See,
Am I
it's okay.
next? Well, there you go.
That's because I killed the guy
Good,
who tried to the cops off the train.
good boy, good
A
boy.
longtime employee of United Healthcare
Good
said that
job. All
workers
that
at the
right there.
company had been aware for years that members
Listen,
were
listen.
unhappy. You think?
No shit. Well, are they? I bet they're really aware now.
You know, everybody's changing their diet these days, Kurt, and I think now that includes
Oh,
food for
such a
thought
good
even.
job.
They
I
need,
did that during the pandemic, like my duty.
they need to add more fiber so that they aren't as full of shit
Job.
as usual, and maybe that will cut down on the lead in their diet, if you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Thompson was one of the few executives who wanted to do something about it. Oh, really?
Well, if only he was
Really?
the CEO, maybe he could.
What
If
a,
only he was in charge of the company.
what a terrible shame that this crusader for the working man and everyday people was shot down before he could implement all these very specific plans for sweeping change. A regular modern-day MLK this guy was.
Well, what can I?
Good
I'm
boy,
just
then
one
let me do
chief
the
executive
footsies.
officer of the biggest healthcare
Good
company.
job.
What can I do?
Okay, let me see
In
this one.
speeches to employees, he spoke about the need to change the state of healthcare coverage in the country and the culture of the company. Topics other executives avoided. Really, so he gave speeches about it.
Oh, and other executives avoided it, and he had the courage to stand up and say, "This is wrong." Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to insider trade.
I need to go do some insider trading. Already there is heightened concern among some public-facing healthcare companies, said Eric Sean Clay.
What
Never
a
trust a guy with three
good
names.
job.
The president of the International Association for Healthcare Security and Safety.
You're doing
and
so
Triple-
Public facing,
I'm
is that
so
implying that there's a
proud.
health deep state? Is that what that means?
I'm just thinking
I don't
about
know.
it.
The trade group includes
boy.
members that offer security to some of the largest healthcare companies in North America. The CEOs are quite often the most
Why are you,
visible
like,
face
fake
of the
whining? Like,
organization.
what are you doing?
Sometimes
What is the
people
sound
hate
you're
on
making?
that individual and wish to do them harm.
No, sometimes they kill them. I always hate on them.
Yes.
We always hate you. Some people take it a little far.
Why would people hold the principal decision maker responsible for anything?
Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
You're not making any sense.
He's just one man in charge of the company.
But few healthcare companies provide security for their executives.
How much
so I bet
nicer!
that's gonna change.
Yay!
What?
I bet that's going to change.
Wow, who would have thought the golden parachute was actually lead?
It said in
Good
part
job,
to avoid
buddy.
bad optics,
Let me see
or
this one.
because it may seem unnecessary. Not anymore. In the hours after the shooting early Wednesday morning, social media exploded with anger. Yeah, I
Let me see the
know.
underside,
Oh,
yeah.
security
Hold
like,
on,
like
Bubba.
a Secret Service? Like they don't
Yes.
even give to Trump?
Yeah. I paid $1,300 a month for health insurance with an $8,000 deductible. That's $23,000 a year.
Wait,
Well,
man.
that's great. Best
What-
system in the world.
what
What do you want?
I want to get this
do it?
hair.
When I,
Stop. Your
when I
pads are way
finally
too.
reached that
Oh my God,
deductible,
you're so
they
frustrating.
denied my claims.
Nice.
He was making $1 million a month, the CEO. That was one comment on TikTok.
Stop.
Another commenter wrote, "This needs to be the new norm. Eat the rich."
I mean, they do eat you.
Hey, just because the wealthy
Okay.
elite literally hunt and eat humans doesn't mean we should do the same thing. Unless they're all organic. Just don't eat the brain because a mind is a terrible thing to taste. Am I right? Come on.
No.
Who's with me?
Prions.
The ambulance ride to the hospital probably won't be covered, wrote a commenter on the TikTok video in which another user featured an audio clip from the Netflix show Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. In it, the Queen makes a dramatic show of faux sorrow over a death. The shooting prompted a wrenching outpouring of patients and family members who also posted horror stories of insurance claim
Hold on, baby. Ah, you're
reimbursement,
gonna make me cut
stagnation,
myself.
and denials.
I thought Obama fixed all this.
I guess the New York Times would like to call that hate.
Holy, stop.
Posted her-
You literally sit and pick at your feet all night fucking long. I want to do it for 5 minutes and you got a problem with it?
One woman
Yeah,
expressed
don't-
frustration
you
with
should look
trying to get a
ashamed.
special
Stop.
bed for her
No,
disabled
let me
son
finish.
delivered by United Healthcare. Another user described
Look at all this
struggling with
fucking
pills
hair,
and
my guy.
coverage after giving birth. It was so stressful, the user said in a video. I was sick over this.
We're not covering that.
Not
You're
covered.
getting sick over
You're
Look
getting
at his
sick
hair's up.
over your treatment by the
Bye bye,
healthcare
hairs.
So this is from 2023. I'm sharing a GoFundMe later today because apparently the only way to keep yourself alive in this capitalist shithole
See,
is
taking the
to
hairs off.
crowdsource healthcare.
Bye bye,
If
hairs.
insurance companies like United Healthcare are allegedly supported,
Look at
supposed to provide. And then there's a picture of the guy. You exacerbated my father's agonizing battle with cancer until his final
hairs
breath, and now you're trying to throw my mother's life away. United
Hold on
Healthcare
now.
just so your CEO Brian Thompson can take home tens of
No,
billions
don't
of
pull,
dollars
don't
this
pull,
year.
don't
You
pull.
all deserve
Well, you're
to rot
pulling.
in hell.
It wouldn't
I
pull
agree
if you
with
didn't pull away.
Look at his picture with his cold.
I gotta
dead
pull
eyes
on it
and
to
a
cut it.
smile Where he's merely showing teeth. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, 2 kids came out of his balls. I'm supposed to give a shit.
Saw mainstream news coverage about the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare on TikTok, and I think political and industry leaders might want to read the comments and think hard about them. Let's see. Want to see some of them? I'm sorry, prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. Sending prior authorization denies claims, collections, and prayers to his family.
Yeah, he's out of my network too, so I can't give a shit.
Boy, you know, facing these insurance executives facing this kind of rejection, they might as well be actors in Hollywood. Am I right, Kurt? Come on. Was his trip to the ER really emergency? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency, and we were out $3,000.
That's dark. Hey, that's hate.
Hey, that's hate. It's crazy what my first thought was, and then I look at the comments and I realize I'm not alone in my thoughts. Here's some more. I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for pre-approval of my care, then after they care their required deductible, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us. So look at
Don't
this.
move.
People know the
If you pull,
they
the hair gets pulled
United
away.
Healthcare. This is
Dude,
at Facebook, and at Facebook,
Look at all this
you can
hair that I
choose
just
the
clipped from
emoji.
between his toes.
So when they
Christ's
put
sake,
out their thing
his poor
about
toes.
how they are sorry that this guy got killed. This is their company, United Health Group.
I want to take him to a groomer so bad and get his toes and stuff done so bad, but I can't take him anywhere, so it has to be a groomer that'll come
Tim
here.
Waltz was really down too.
Yeah.
It's strange.
I was pondering the idea
Julie
today
Nelson says, just a reminder that
on
Brian Thompson,
how I could get
CEO,
Orly in the vehicle,
was
and I was
just
thinking
shot
maybe
and
if I
killed,
put a
was
kennel and I
human being
ratchet
with
strap it or
family.
something
So maybe for the evidence.
to the the bed of the truck somehow, then I can put him in that, and I could probably give him steps, and then he would have a way into the back of the truck, and it would be safer than
Yes, I'm sorry,
just riding loose
Hey, Drew,
in the back of the truck.
I'm sorry, but being a biped
But it also won't be in the car where he hates. He won't get in the car. I have to physically pick him up and put him in the car, and he's too heavy for me to do that now. I cannot do that. So
While under the leadership as CEO, United Healthcare
I'm thinking
deployed an
if I
AI
can
model,
rig something up in the back of the truck,
100%
then
error rate, which
I will be
United
able
Health
to
knew about. And
take
they use
him
that
somewhere
AI so
fun,
they can deny
and we can go on
life-saving
walks.
coverage to millions of people,
So I'm hoping
all of whom have families.
if I can just get him in the back of the truck, I can take him right down the street to
Fuck you.
that place,
Just remind
and
you,
it'd be
fuck
nice,
yourself.
and
The
it will
guy's
work
a
out, I
serial
think.
killer. And he
As
should-
are most of the people who are in charge of all the institutions.
Yes. Dean Phillips says seems like leftists opposed to killing terrorists in the Middle East support killing CEOs in Midtown Manhattan. Sick.
Well, I don't want to kill Israelis. Just
No, that's right. So Johnny
crazy to
Grass,
say that.
Johnny Grass says funny. Most leftists I know have no problem taking out the IDF. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it? That they're the real terrorists. Get it?
I don't want to look. I'll remind you, Jeffrey Epstein was a human being who worked for Israel.
Yeah.
And was there James Bonds, and he was a human being. And it's sad.
Nick Cruz says, imagine being so morally bankrupt that you cheer on the genocide of the Palestinians, where 70% of the casualties are women and children. Mourn a death care CEO who made money based off the suffering of Americans.
Well,
He's talking about this.
Insurance.
He's talking about this ditch Julie Nelson.
Who is she?
I don't know. They're gonna spend 100,000 more manpower and money to find the UHC CEO shooter than they ever did investigating UHC's unlawful practices and deaths that they caused. That's
They
exactly.
did less work on the Trump assassins.
Well, I like this one. Witness unable to give any identifying information to New York City shooter of CEO. Funny story, United actually declined to cover my new glasses.
Hey, that's a joke article.
Says witness. I know, but it's funny.
I mean, I want it to be true. I'm disappointed it's not a
So-
real thing.
The New York Times calls genuine outrage hate. That's what they call it, hate. Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for more tickets. And only jimmydore.com.
Oh, it almost did the thing.
Yeah, one word. Could be two with a hyphen. Girl boss. Now, this is when Mona offers Spencer a second chance to join the A-team. Right? The first time was the end of season 2 when they're driving and she offers Spencer on the spot on the A-team. Spencer's like, absolutely fucking no. So she offers her a second attempt to get on the A-team. And Spencer accepts. She does this so that she can find out more Toby information. At the end of episode 22 of season 3, we find out that the new A-lair is actually an RV, so they can drive it around. It's mobile. Actually, such a great idea. Good job, A-team. Also, quick side note, something that I noticed in this show is when someone is going through it, they put a robe on. They're in Radley, put a robe on. You just ran over a policeman, put a robe on. The rest of the gals decide that they need to prove to Spencer that the body in the woods isn't Toby. And the way that they plan on doing this is by breaking into the morgue and taking pictures of the body. Excuse me, while I go off screen and scream. Like, go to school, oh my god. While doing such activities, Arya sees Redcoat and tries to catch her, but she escapes as per usual. I have a question for Redcoat. First name Red, last name Coat. Is the redness giving what you thought it gave? A, running around with a black hood on. Makes sense. You're trying to be inconspicuous. Red coat running around with a red coat doesn't seem like the best option logistically for being sneaky. Like, she really
Carmen
pushes-
Sandiego.
I mean, Miss Princess of Espionage so bad, but you have the most easy to spot uniform. Anyway, they find the body and it's not Toby, but it's whoa crazy because when they unzip the body bag, the body is wearing a mask. Later, Arya is supposed to pick up Malcolm from karate practice.
I can't believe how many fucking likes this comment has. I'm like shocked. Did you guys hear about the Hawk Tua girl? She did a pump and dump crypto scheme.
Amy Welsh used this viral moment
Oh, you gotta give it that hawk to it. Spit on that thing. You get me?
and turned it into this.
My hawk meme coin is live.
Then her Hawk to a meme coin almost almost instantaneously collapsed, as the Daily Mail even reported on this crypto disaster, stating the Hawk coin peaked at a market capitalization of $490 million before plummeting 91% in 3 hours, reporting that up to 90% of the initial supply was controlled by insiders and snipers, as soul scanners showed that one single wallet had over 17%
Gross, I touched my
seconds
dog's
after
foot and I
launch,
just licked my finger.
making $1.3 million in 90 minutes. Now, everybody
Good
online
job, Heather.
seems outraged over this, and rightfully so. So we'll get into how badly people got took, the legalities behind
Love
shady meme coins, and if I personally blame the Hawk Tua girl. Because sadly, this wouldn't be the first time some random internet celebrity pushed some shady cryptocurrency, and most certainly won't be the last time either, as there's plenty of people feeling foolish for missing out on Bitcoin and its $92,000 run. So these shady developers are going to prey on their ignorance by utilizing internet celebrities that specifically pull in audiences of people foolish enough to pour millions of dollars into a cryptocurrency named after a fact. As apparently one person complained about purchasing $35,000 of Hawk just for it to drop to $2,000, stating, "I'm a huge fan of Hawk.
Who would have bought that?
But you took my life savings." With others reporting their complaints directly to the SEC, dropping the link for others to do the same too. And even law firms are offering their legal services to those who lost money. So the Hawk Tua girl reposted a response from her partners, to which the Twitter community notes apparently replied,
If you like that, Mike, that Pretty Little Liars video recap, that was Mike's mic.
Prison to a revenge coin popping up on X. And obviously, I don't believe everything I read online, as there's really no proof that guy lost his life savings or that other guy actually reported it to the SEC. But I do know people have been getting scammed out of their money by slightly smarter people ever since the bartering system ever existed, as I don't think the Hawk Tua girl is secretly a genius, learning overnight how to develop her own crypto coins, but I unironically think she is a very smart person, as plenty of people go mega viral every year, like the "that MF is not real" girl that quickly faded into obscurity. But
No,
Haley
she
took
didn't.
her random moment of fame.
She's
and
still
used it
very
to get
popular on
stage
TikTok,
with country music
Twitter.
stars. Threw out the first pitch at a Mets game, got invited to play celebrity poker, then launches her own podcast, getting platinum-selling rappers to guest on. And from the outside, it looks like she simply lucked into a celebrity. But there are plenty of people that randomly received her same opportunity, but quickly fumbled that bag, being forgotten. And although her online persona is still that same party girl shouting obscenities in a street interview, there is a certain level of ability to
I'm
transform
gonna see if
that
Adam
into
wants
an
this
actual
tater.
career. That being said, I think she was also being scammed in this crypto fiasco, as I know personally. When you reach a certain level of internet relevance / influence, scam artists know how naive you are and start tracking you down. Where maybe 2 years ago now, when I was loaded.
All right, y'all. It's time for me to go and relax on my bed. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do that fine. Oh, guys, if between now and February I need to receive at least one jewel thing, so they have this new feature like on here where it's like TikTok or Bigo or whatever, you can send gifts now through live streams. So if I get one gift 3 times a month, I will get $1,000 bonus. So I think it doesn't matter like the amount. It can be like 50 cents or something. I don't know. But if y'all can help me do that, would be great. Because I'm really going to be needing money really bad. I need to get that lawyer paid. I need to get that U-Haul. I'm going to be working quite a bit in the construction job, but you know, I still have to like that's like still not gonna be enough money. It's really not. I can't. It's $20. You know, it's really not that much money. Yeah, it's a big opportunity. So it would really be helpful. It would make a huge difference in my life, and it would make it possible to like, yeah, give Elliot some provide Elliot with some needs, because I'm really sick to death of always having to be like, I'm sorry, baby, I can't. How's that foot feel? Does that feel better? If I catch you chewing on your foot, I'll know you're faking it now. What's this? What is that? Some like weird ear hair tangle going on too here. Alright, well, I'll see y'all later. Oh, booger in my nose. It's probably hanging out. Good night, everybody. I love you. No bus, babe. So it has to be one gift for 3 different live streams. So 3 live streams have to get receive at least 1 gift. And then once the February, I think. Okay. You've turned on gifts, blah, blah, blah. Gifts sent in your vertical live streams could get you a bonus of up to $1,000 per month. Once viewers purchase the jewels, they can start sending gifts. You could earn up to $1,000 a month. To qualify, each month you must receive at least 1 gift on 3 or more vertical live streams. This bonus runs until the end of February. Payments will be made in your normal cycle. So that's what I was sent. Reading it again, it kind of sounds a little bit more vague than I had initially thought, but still. Ugh. Oh, man. Alright, well, I can't find the email now. I haven't checked my email in a while, apparently. Okay, weird. Alright, well, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Yay. My client who I did his hair, the jeweler, he's still in Miami, apparently. And he said he's going to be there till Monday. So I had messaged him and I was like, I want to know how was your trip? I hope it was really good. Did you meet any cool people? And he was like, oh yeah. I met some cool people. Pretty excited for him. No, jewels. I don't know, whatever the thing is that they are using for the YouTubes. What is that? Retouch? Good. That's weird. It's a new feature. Alright, see you later, guys. I love you. Have a good night.